The scene unfolds in the ruins of a city, where bodies of both humans and monsters lie slain and piled upon each other, weapons scattered amidst the carnage. Thunder and rain pour down relentlessly, amplifying the grim atmosphere of the night. A woman in a revealing black and white holy dress stands amidst the chaos. She holds a dagger enveloped by a sinister purple aura and addresses a dark-haired warrior named Qin Feng, who struggles to remain standing despite his wounds. Clad in iron armor and supporting himself with a massive sword, Qin Feng faces her with a mix of pain and disbelief. The woman, Qin Xiaoyu, mocks Qin Feng's perseverance and praises his ability to survive the ruins of the ancient gods, despite the odds. In her grasp are two bloody golden orbs, an artifact known as the Eye of Judgment, freshly taken from Qin Feng, blood dripping from them and running down her hands. Qin Feng, bloodied and weakened, a sword buried to the hilt in his back, confronts Qin Xiaoyu, demanding to know why she has betrayed him at such a critical moment. He addresses her as his sister, a title she rejects with disdain. Qin Xiaoyu's expression hardens as she dismisses Qin Feng as nothing more than the adopted son of their parents, denying any familial bond between them. Her words are laced with contempt, revealing the depth of her resentment. The tension escalates as a blonde man named Sun Fei emerges, addressing Qin Xiaoyu with familiarity and affection. Sun Fei chastises Qin Xiaoyu's harsh words but cannot conceal his satisfaction at Qin Feng's plight. Draping an arm around Qin Xiaoyu's shoulders, he reveals the extent of their betrayal. He admits to implanting a cursed weapon, the Isoul Reaper sword, into Qin Feng's body to drain his life force, mocking him all the while. As the Eye of Judgment hovers above his open palm, gleaming with stolen power, his words twist like a blade, a cruel thank you to Qin Feng for making their victory possible. Struggling to remain upright, blood streaking down the hollows where his eyes had been gouged out, Qin Feng recounts the sacrifices he made for Qin Xiaoyu's sake, the risks taken, the battles fought, and the countless times he protected her after their parents' deaths. His voice, heavy with regret and sorrow, accuses her of betrayal. Qin Xiaoyu's response is cold and dismissive. She accuses Qin Feng of manipulating her life under the guise of protection, her voice carried a hint of cold amusement. She recalled the past, acknowledging that Qin Feng had once served a purpose when she and brother Song Fei needed shelter. However, with the artifact now secured, the warrior's worth had been entirely extinguished. There was no further use for him. Without hesitation, Sun Fei leaped into the air, his crimson cape billowing behind him like a specter of death. Twin rapiers gleamed in his hands, slicing through the dim light as he descended upon his helpless target. His movements were swift, precise, each slash aimed to end what remained of the warrior's resistance. A sneer curled upon his lips as he voiced his final verdict. He declared that Qin Feng should accept his fate and die in peace, promising to take good care of Qin Xiaoyu. Qin Feng, barely able to stand, coughed violently, his breath ragged. Defiance burned in his fading gaze as he forced out his final words. He vowed that even in death, he would never let Sun Fei go. Yet, before another syllable could escape his lips, his head was already severed from his body. The blade's merciless arc sent it tumbling through the air, leaving his lifeless body to crumple among the corpses and a dark trail of liquid that painted the battlefield in brutality. The story then shifts focus, revealing the world's altered state in the year 2025. A mysterious phenomenon known as the Forgotten Game of God has overtaken reality. While asleep, individuals are forcibly dragged into the game's world, where life itself is the currency. Dying costs a part of one's lifespan, while slaying monsters extends it. The game allows players to extract skills and manifest them in the real world, granting immense power, enough to crush tanks bare-handed or withstand nuclear blasts. As disasters spread and society crumbles, survival becomes the only goal. Qin Feng, a survivor who had climbed to become one of the world's 100 strongest, had endured countless hardships alongside Qin Xiaoyu. His efforts culminated in acquiring the Eye of Judgment, an artifact promising ultimate power, one that embedded itself into his very eyes the moment he claimed it. However, that triumph was short-lived, stolen in the cruelest way imaginable by the very people he trusted most. Chief among them was the one he had protected like a sister, Qin Xiaoyu, who betrayed him without hesitation, driving a blade into his back and gouging out his eyes to tear the artifact from him, only to hand it over to another. The realization that his life's struggles had merely paved the way for others' ambitions filled him with bitter regret. As consciousness fades, a final wish takes shape, a desperate plea for another chance to live, this time for himself. Against all expectations, that wish is granted. Qin Feng awakens abruptly in his bed, heart pounding and drenched in sweat. Confusion turns to shock as he checks his phone, discovering the date, 2025. It dawns on him that he has been reborn, transported back 9 years to the day the forgotten game of God first emerged. The past is not yet set in stone, and the betrayal has not yet come to pass. In the aftermath of a long and grueling day, Qin Xiaoyu angrily kicked open the front door of the home, her frustration evident. Inside, Qin Feng remained unfazed, holding a drinking cup and casting a casual glance in her direction. Qin Xiaoyu's voice was sharp and demanding as she questioned Qin Feng's lack of response to her calls. Qin Feng, however, was lost in thought. He recalled how, on the day the forgotten game of God was released, a significant argument had erupted between him and Qin Xiaoyu due to Song Fei. Qin Xiaoyu's frustration only escalated as she continued her tirade, punctuating her words with a swift kick to a nearby bin, sending it into the air. She defended her actions, insisting that her support for Song Fei was crucial and accusing Qin Feng of trying to abandon her. Qin Feng's memories provided context for her outburst. Before the arrival of the game, Song Fei had been a famous idol, and Qin Xiaoyu had been an ardent fan. Her room bore witness to this obsession, its walls covered in posters. Within his thoughts, Qin Feng recognized the harsh truth about Song Fei. Beneath the glamorous facade, the idol was nothing more than a scoundrel who had exploited many female fans, both financially and emotionally. Determined to shield Qin Xiaoyu from this deception, he had consistently restricted her interactions with Song Fei. However, despite his intentions, these efforts were seen as oppressive by Qin Xiaoyu, who accused him of interfering in her life. In her rant, Qin Xiaoyu railed against those she perceived as threats to Song Fei's status, hurling insults at his rivals and venting her anger at Qin Feng for cutting off her financial support. Without access to his money, she could no longer fund Song Fei's climb up the leaderboards, fueling her resentment even further. As Qin Xiaoyu's accusations grew louder, she demanded a response, her anger pushing her to threaten Qin Feng for money. However, her words were abruptly cut off when Qin Feng, his emotions cold and restrained, struck her across the face. The impact sent her crashing to the ground, along with the mess she had caused, like a piece of garbage herself, leaving her momentarily stunned. Pain radiated from her cheek as she clutched it with trembling fingers, tears spilling over her cheeks. A thin trickle of blood escaped from both her nose and mouth, marking her pale skin as the silence around them deepened. Qin Xiaoyu, struggling to regain composure, glared at Qin Feng with a mixture of shock and indignation. Through the lingering pain, her voice quivered with disbelief as she questioned how he could dare hit her. Qin Feng's tone was devoid of warmth as he addressed her, making it clear that he had neither the time nor the patience for her accusations. He asserted that the money left by their parents had never been touched by him, regardless of the hardships faced over the years. To settle things once and for all, he tossed a gold bank card onto her lap, the gesture final and unfeeling. For the sake of their parents, Qin Feng refrained from further argument but delivered a parting statement that severed the remaining ties between them. From that moment on, he declared that he no longer considered Qin Xiaoyu his sister. Without sparing her another glance, he retreated into his room, closing the door behind him. Qin Xiaoyu was left alone, sobbing, her betrayal still fresh in Qin Feng's mind. Alone in his room, Qin Feng reflected on the sacrifices made in his past life to protect Qin Xiaoyu. Many secret places and treasures that required exploration had been abandoned in the name of safeguarding her, and the cost had been immense. Setting a cup of water down on the table, he prepared 2 sleeping pills, his gaze steady with newfound determination. With these burdens now cast aside, Qin Feng's thoughts turned to the possibilities that lay ahead. He was curious to see how far he could go without the weight of Qin Xiaoyu holding him back. The knowledge of the game from his previous life was now a powerful tool at his disposal, and he was determined to leverage it to outpace everyone else. Hatred simmered within Qin Feng as his thoughts shifted to Song Fei. A dark, murderous aura seemed to surround him as he resolved to exact revenge personally. As sleep claimed him, Qin Feng's consciousness was transported to another dimension. The surroundings were surreal, with a dark, night sky-blue expanse and a floor that resembled calm waters. Numerous doorless openings stretched out around him. Recognizing the setting as the Grand Hall of Profession Selection, Qin Feng felt a wave of nostalgia. In his previous life, the first visit to this hall had been marked by uncertainty and nervousness, with hours spent deliberating on the choice of profession. Now, with a lifetime of knowledge and experience, he was determined to make a swift and strategic decision. The various classes available through the openings drew his attention. In the past, the warrior class had been chosen solely to protect Qin Xiaoyu. Though formidable, the class's limitations were apparent, especially now that the burden of guarding Qin Xiaoyu no longer applied. Prioritizing speed and mobility, Qin Feng resolved to choose a path that would allow him to level up rapidly and efficiently. This time, unshackled by the past, he intended to forge a new destiny. The assassin class, with its focus on mobility and efficiency, was chosen without hesitation, unburdened by past obligations. As soon as the decision was made, a notification screen appeared before him, informing him that the artifact, Eye of Judgment, had already been bound. A massive eye glared down from above as another notification detailed the artifact's unique attribute, Might of Judgment. This attribute's passive effect guaranteed the highest quality profession and talents upon entering the game world. A grin spread across Qin Feng's face at this revelation. The Eye of Judgment, bound to him even after being reborn, confirmed a suspicion: once an artifact recognized its master, it became useless to anyone else, even if stolen. This connection hinted that the artifact might have played a role in his rebirth. Before these thoughts could fully form, dark shadow matter pierced through Qin Feng's chest, enveloping his body and initiating the transformation. More notifications followed swiftly, announcing the completion of the class transfer. Qin Feng had become the Shadow. His appearance was drastically altered, with black hair turned white and a black cape with red stripes draped over his new assassin uniform. Shadow matter lingered around him, accentuating the power now coursing through him. The Shadow was revealed to be the highest-level hidden assassin class, a stark contrast to the warrior class chosen in the past life for the sole purpose of protecting Qin Xiaoyu. The immense power granted by this class immediately upon obtaining it was unprecedented. A new notification clarified the nature of the Eye of Judgment, revealing its connection to the authority of judgment, the most real and ancient primordial authority in the universe. This authority held the power to nullify rules and order, a fact that left Qin Feng momentarily stunned. In the previous life, humanity had first learned of the existence of the power of order only in the 7th year of the game, when a powerful figure escaped the earth abandoned by the gods and reached the land of order. Yet, even after years passed, no one managed to obtain that power. Realizing that the authority of judgment was even greater, capable of nullifying both order and rules, Qin Feng recognized the significance of his newfound ability. The passive effect of this authority was already active, but without divinity, the authority could not yet be activated by choice. A new goal was set: to escape the earth abandoned by the gods, reach the land of order, and obtain divinity to fully unleash the power of the original authority. The notifications continued, prompting Qin Feng to enter a game code. Drawing inspiration from his profession, born in shadows, he chose the code name Shadow. A confirmation followed: your code name is Shadow. As the game world materialized, a series of notifications explained the harsh reality of this realm. Earth abandoned by the gods was described as a ruined land filled with countless monsters, always ready to attack and steal life. Outside of the peace zone of Shell Town, monsters roamed freely, and life itself became a tradable commodity upon slaying them. Upon arriving in Shell Town, Qin Feng observed other players, newly transported and visibly confused by their surroundings. Many struggled to comprehend their situation, debating whether they were dreaming or hallucinating. Some clutched at memories of mundane activities, night shifts and late dinners, only to find themselves in this hostile world instead. Qin Feng, keen on avoiding attention, pulled his hood low to conceal his face. His intent was to remain inconspicuous and gather information quietly. However, the uniqueness of his class and the distinctiveness of his gear caught the eyes of nearby players. Whispers and questions spread quickly among the crowd. Other assassins, in particular, voiced envy and confusion at the stark contrast between their standard abilities and the special effects radiating from Qin Feng's weapons and attire. Faced with this unexpected attention, Qin Feng's thoughts sharpened on the path forward. Time was of the essence. The strong from various nations would soon rise to reshape the world order, and to stay ahead, swift and decisive action was required. With a final glance at the crowd, Qin Feng resolved to move quickly and capitalize on the head start granted by the knowledge of his past life and the immense power of the authority of judgment. While approaching the town's teleportation circle, Qin Feng, disguised with a face mask, noticed a party of 4 players respawning. The group's appearance suggested a failed battle. 3 male players in the group voiced their frustrations openly, complaining about a wild monster's unexpected strength. One described how a single bite had taken away half of his health, making it seem impossible to fight. Another questioned if dying meant being sent back to town, while the third lamented that even a level 1 creeper, a supposed low-tier monster, had only lost a third of its health despite their efforts. The group's leader, a blonde female in green named Lizzie, clutched her aching head as her teammates looked to her for guidance, asking what to do next. Observing from a distance, Qin Feng noted that Lizzie wielded a longbow rather than the standard short bow for archers, indicating that she likely possessed a hidden profession. Noticing Qin Feng's approach, Lizzie quickly stood and addressed him directly. She remarked that he appeared to possess a hidden profession as well and proposed forming a team. She explained that the monsters outside were far too powerful for a solo player and emphasized the advantage of their experience, despite having been defeated once already. Qin Feng, unimpressed and unwilling to reveal his strength or intentions, declined the offer and continued on his way. One of Lizzie's teammates, a warrior clad in gray, mocked Qin Feng's decision to go alone, accusing him of pretending to be an expert. The warrior laughed at the idea of a solo attempt against monsters that had already decimated their entire party. Another teammate, an assassin, pointed out that Qin Feng's profession was noble and unique, likely granting him the ability to escape even if he couldn't win. Lizzie, observing Qin Feng's appearance, noted the codename Shadow and found his demeanor pretentious. However, seeing potential for valuable information, she suggested to her team that they follow him discreetly to gather intel on the monsters and possibly learn about new skills or strategies. Beneath this reasoning, another thought lingered, curiosity about how he would meet his end. The group agreed and began to trail him, hiding behind trees to avoid detection. As Lizzie observed the situation, she silently reflected on the nature of the world they had been dragged into, a place abandoned by the gods, filled with dangers far beyond a typical starting area for new players. Despite years of experience as a veteran online gamer, Lizzie's team had been completely wiped out by what was supposed to be a low-level monster. The situation was far from ordinary, and the abnormal difficulty left her unsettled. As the group continued to follow, they began to notice the differences in Qin Feng's equipment and speed. The assassin among them remarked that Qin Feng's agility far surpassed his own, despite assassins being known for high agility. The warrior commented on the distinctiveness of Qin Feng's weapon compared to their own standard issue gear. Lizzie, piecing these observations together, concluded that Qin Feng was far from an ordinary player and that following him might reveal important information about this dangerous world. Qin Feng, aware of the group's presence, glanced back in their direction, causing them to retreat behind the tree in a panic. The group members exchanged nervous glances, uncertain if they had been detected. Meanwhile, Qin Feng activated the skill, Latent Image, instantly vanishing into an illuminated shadow and becoming completely invisible. The group, now confused and alarmed, questioned how someone could disappear so suddenly and speculated that it might be a stealth ability unique to Qin Feng's class. Unknown to the group, Qin Feng had already advanced a few meters ahead, silently observing them. As they emerged from hiding to inspect the spot where he had just been, his eyes remained fixed on their every move. Lizzie, realizing the risk of continuing without more information, eventually decided to retreat to town to strategize further. She acknowledged that the outside world was far too dangerous and that any additional deaths would severely shorten their remaining lifespans. Her subordinates agreed, hoping to find hidden rewards or NPCs in town that might help them level up. Meanwhile, Qin Feng reviewed the notifications that appeared before him. The skill, Latent Image, had allowed him to enter an invisibility phase, enhancing the attack power of his first strike after breaking stealth. Another skill, Invisibility Mastery, extended the duration of invisibility and increased the stealth level. Qin Feng recognized the uniqueness of these abilities. Ordinary assassins had stealth skills that could easily be detected, but the Shadow class offered invisibility so effective that even monsters would struggle to sense his presence in these early stages. Amused by the naivety of the group, Qin Feng dismissed their hopes of finding anything useful in the starting town. In reality, the town was designed merely as a refuge for players, offering no substantial power boosts. With this understanding, Qin Feng moved deeper into the forest, aware that in this brutal game world, the weak were destined to become prey for monsters. Moving through the densely packed forest, Qin Feng observed his status window, noting that the invisibility effect had ended sooner than expected. However, he recognized the advantage that the cooldown for the ability began as soon as invisibility was activated, meaning it could be used again after a short wait. His status window revealed his codename as Shadow, matching his chosen profession. At level 1, he possessed a non-tradable lifespan of 75 years, with no tradable lifespan available. His attributes were evenly set at 10, but various bonuses enhanced them. Strength and Constitution each received a +3 boost, Agility was heightened by +8, and Spirit increased by +5. Additionally, he had 5 free attribute points available for allocation. Qin Feng analyzed these attributes with a sense of disbelief, realizing that unlike his previous life as a warrior who only received limited bonuses to Strength and Constitution, the Shadow class gained enhancements in every attribute. The Agility bonus, in particular, stood out as unusually high at +8. Considering how to allocate the free attribute points, Qin Feng recognized a common mistake among players, boosting Strength or Spirit early on to enhance attack power, which only led to inevitable defeat against powerful monsters. Instead, he decided to invest all 5 points into Agility, prioritizing speed and evasion to minimize the risk of taking damage. Notifications confirmed the allocation of points to Agility. As Qin Feng moved cautiously through the forest, a horrific growling sound caught his attention. Approaching the source, he spotted a monster seated by a tree, its hunched form barely shifting as it loomed in the dim forest light. Though not in stealth, he advanced slowly toward it. A notification identified the creature as a level 1 creeper, classified as a normal grade monster, though its grade was still in progress. The creature was devouring what appeared to be a form of life essence. Analyzing the situation, Qin Feng deduced that this was the same creature that had defeated the 4-man team earlier. The monster's wounds indicated that the previous battle had drained a significant amount of its blood. In this world, when a monster killed a player, it absorbed the victim's lifespan, allowing it to progress and become even more dangerous. Sensing danger, the creeper detected Qin Feng's presence and charged forward, its blood-stained mouth full of sharp teeth gaping wide and its 3 eyes fixed on him with deadly intent. The creature, a grotesque form with hook-like hands and a tail, aimed to snatch Qin Feng's life force as well. However, Qin Feng reacted swiftly, leaping back to dodge the attack. He summoned a dagger from his shadow space, then activated his stealth ability, disappearing from sight. The monster halted, confused by the sudden disappearance of its prey, scanning the surroundings in a futile attempt to locate Qin Feng. Utilizing this opportunity, Qin Feng circled behind the creature, activating a skill called Strike to break stealth. In a single, precise motion, he plunged the dagger into the back of the creeper's skull, driving it to the ground. Notifications promptly appeared before Qin Feng, informing him that he had dealt 174 points of damage, slain the level 1 creeper, and gained 10 experience points. The creeper's body disintegrated into light, leaving behind a golden essence that hovered in front of Qin Feng. Astonished by the outcome, Qin Feng noted that the damage dealt was exceptionally high, far beyond what he had expected, even with a critical strike to a vital point. A notification clarified the situation. Backstab: if an attack is launched from outside the enemy's field of vision, the damage is doubled. Recognizing the synergy between his class skills, Qin Feng realized that multiple abilities had activated simultaneously, drastically amplifying the damage. He remembered that as a warrior, his critical hits had once inflicted a mere 40 damage, making it a grueling ordeal to defeat even a single creeper. For a brief moment, he remained silent, even in thought, as his memories drifted to the past. The recollection of using valuable life force to save his sister, only to be deceived, a bitter reminder of the consequences of trust. This time, however, he grasped the life force for himself, devouring it with a clenched fist. Notifications then appeared before Qin Feng, displaying the results of the absorption. 3 days of transferable life were gained, along with 54 years and 155 days of non-transferable life. Reflecting on the situation, Qin Feng deduced that since 5 players had died, each must have lost at least 20 to 30 years of lifespan, totaling over 100 years. However, after the creeper's conversion, only 54 years remained recoverable. Despite the disappointing amount, Qin Feng dismissed any immediate concerns over lifespan, recognizing that its importance was secondary to survival and power acquisition in this brutal world. New notifications soon appeared, bearing unexpected news. The Authority of Judgment had been activated, granting him a new talent called Infinite Evolution. This talent, originally his main ability, allowed him to gain evolution points from monster kills in solo mode, which could be used to upgrade skills. Additionally, 5 evolution points would be granted every 24 hours, with boss-level monsters guaranteeing 100% evolution points. His current points stood at 5. Inspecting the information, Qin Feng was taken aback. No memory from the past life included a talent that allowed skill upgrades, defying the known rules where Gihren's skill books remained fixed in grade. The implications of this new power were profound, a force that transcended established rules and order. Without hesitation, Qin Feng decided to test it by upgrading the skills Shadow and Backstab. The notifications confirmed the results of the upgrades. The skill Shadow had been elevated from normal to bronze, extending its stealth duration from 12 to 16 seconds, increasing attack power from 60 to 90, and reducing its cooldown from 28 to 26 seconds. Meanwhile, the skill Backstab had been improved from poor to normal, raising the damage increase when attacking from behind from 10% to 15%. With the upgrades in place, the duration of Latent Shadow extended to 16 seconds, and with Invisibility Mastery, the duration doubled to 32 seconds. This newfound ability effectively granted infinite invisibility, a power that would have drastically altered past battles, potentially allowing a full health creeper to be eliminated in a single strike. Clenching his fist with excitement, Qin Feng planned to move deeper into the forest to test his enhancements. But the sound of voices soon drew his attention. A cocky warrior, armed with a sword and shield, stood confidently beside a blonde mage holding a staff. The warrior boasted about his strength, embracing the mage who praised him, both completely unaware of the danger lurking above. Qin Feng's gaze turned cold as he observed the scene, his instincts alerting him to a hidden threat. Without a word, he leaped back and activated his stealth ability, vanishing from sight. A pack of mutated spiders led by a boss-level spider known as Nurse, a level 11 creature of bronze rarity. The warrior and the mage turn in horror, eyes widening in sheer fright. Sweat drips down the warrior's face as he stammers in panic, but their fate is sealed. The first spider crashes down with a sickening thud, its web still attached, instantly crushing the two beneath its massive weight. Blood splatters in a gruesome circle. Surrounding it, smaller spiders bearing the title Nurse, Baby Spider, Level 1, Common Rarity, scuttle into position. Observing this, Qin Feng silently evaluates the situation. Recognizing that Nurse possesses around 1,600 HP, he determines that a novice would stand no chance against such an opponent, especially given the swarm of smaller spiders under its command. However, he views this as an opportunity rather than an obstacle. Without hesitation, an assassin known as Shadow moves toward the monstrous spider, a dagger already in hand. With a calculated motion, the blade is plunged into one of Nurse's eyes, causing the creature to screech in agony. Blood pours from the wound, but the beast remains alive, its massive form thrashing in fury, and flung him to the ground, but he swiftly reactivated stealth upon impact. Despite the injury, the attack has inflicted a significant 338 weak point damage. Qin Feng stays cautious. Despite his agility, he still lost 9 HP out of 130. Satisfied with his attack, excitement surges through him after landing over 300 damage. But the enraged spider retaliates, demolishing trees in a desperate frenzy. Qin Feng observed the battlefield. Even basic projectiles like stones became lethal weapons, triggering the combined effects of invisibility breaks, backstab bonuses, and weak point attacks. A carefully aimed rock struck the spider with 299 points of weak point damage, confirming the lethal synergy of his upgraded abilities. Keeping his distance, he struck swiftly with each skill reset, exploiting the spider's blind rage. Precision and timing allowed him to wear down its health rapidly. Stealth, strike, retreat, his strategy remained relentless. As his skill refreshed, his golden eyes gleamed, ready for another throw. The battle raged on, Nurse's downfall drawing ever closer. In the starting town, an alert rang out, grabbing everyone's attention. A notification appeared, ding, leaderboard update. Player Shadow killed Nurse, bronze rank, and became the first to reach level 2. The Shell Village leaderboard was revealed, with Shadow at the top. Players were stunned. Many had already lost to the monsters multiple times, making it hard to believe someone had soloed a boss. Desperate to uncover Shadow's identity, they speculated and sought to befriend such a powerful figure. Among a group of 4 who had previously followed Qin Feng, an assassin asked Lizzie if Shadow was the same lone player they had seen. Lizzie found it hard to believe anyone could level up so fast, let alone defeat a bronze-ranked boss alone. Some even suspected a system error. Meanwhile, a cocky warrior and his mage companion, recently slain by the nurse, were equally shocked. They couldn't fathom how the massive spider had died so quickly while its swarm still roamed. The mage hesitated, suspecting that Shadow was the invisible assassin they had encountered earlier. In the forest, Qin Feng absorbed the life essence of the slain boss. Notifications confirmed his victory over the nurse, bronze, earning 300 experience points, leveling up to level 2, gaining 2 evolution points, and unlocking the Shell Village leaderboard. The entire village was notified, and he received 1 reputation point. Analyzing the situation, Qin Feng realized the boss's death would cause lesser spiders to disperse, though he regretted not eliminating them first for extra experience. Another notification detailed his rewards: 46 days of transferable life, the Hand of Avarice, bronze, skill book, a corrosion dagger, bronze, plus 35 attack, plus 4 agility, level 1 required, and 2 unlimited evolution points. The Hand of Avarice intrigued him. It gave a 20% chance to gain extra loot from monster corpses. Recalling a past guildmate, the God of Sin, who had risen to power with a similar skill, Qin Feng realized that combining Hand of Avarice with his infinite evolution talent could exponentially boost loot gains, leading to immense power. Meanwhile, in the real world, students arrived at school. Qin Feng's younger sister, Qin Xiaoyu, wore a bandage from the previous night's conflict. A friend urged her to apologize to Qin Feng for missing an exam to help Song Fei, but she refused, insisting he owed her an apology. Dismissing her friend's praise of Qin Feng, she coldly declared Song Fei was the only brother she recognized. A sudden commotion in the school hallway caught their attention. A crowd gathered anxiously around a classroom, eyes fixed on a boy named Zhang Wei seated at his desk. An eerie transformation had begun, his body becoming translucent and ghost-like. Alarm spread quickly as students whispered in fear, uncertain of the cause. A fellow student explained that Zhang Wei had merely intended to nap but had started to vanish instead. Panic escalated when Qin Xiaoyu's friend revealed that similar cases were emerging globally, with reports flooding the internet. Experts speculated that this translucent state was linked to falling asleep, though the reasons remained a mystery. The girl urged Qin Xiaoyu to contact her brother, warning him to stay vigilant. Qin Xiaoyu, however, responded coldly, refusing to reach out. Bitterness tainted her words as she muttered that the world would be better off without him. Unbeknownst to Qin Xiaoyu, her brother Qin Feng was alive and thriving in the world of the forgotten game of God, rapidly advancing his skills. Notifications confirmed his Hand of Avarice had evolved from bronze to gold, raising its extra loot chance from 20% to 70%. He also mastered Hand of Avarice +2. When activated, a golden hand covered in rings appeared, maximizing loot collection. Further notifications confirmed 2 evolution points and another 46 days of transferable life. Overjoyed, Qin Feng noted that evolving Hand of Avarice further would require 3 evolution points, bringing it closer to a 100% loot success rate. Aware that the real-world phenomenon would soon gain global attention, he resolved to accelerate his progress, his next goal, securing stronger equipment to stay ahead. A notification signaled an upgrade, equipped with Corroded Dagger, Bronze, Attack Power +35, Agility +4. Equipment requirement, Level 1. He deduced that the skills and equipment obtained within the game could eventually be extracted into reality. However, this required fulfilling 2 conditions, reaching level 10 and acquiring a sufficient amount of tradable life. Recognizing that slaying common monsters would be inefficient, Qin Feng determined to hunt more powerful bosses to expedite his progress. Moving stealthily through the dark forest under the relentless rain, his sharpened senses caught frantic voices nearby, urgent warnings to be careful and a sharp command to move. Following the sounds, Qin Feng reached a cliff overlooking a chaotic battle. Below, a team of players struggled against an eyeless runner of bronze grade at level 2. The creature roared relentlessly, attacking the warrior who braced himself, mace and shield clashing against the beast as he fought to hold its attention, while the mage and archer coordinated their attacks, striking with precision to wear the monster down. Recognizing the warrior as Wang Meng, Qin Feng recalled rumors about him forming a team of elite players, each possessing hidden professions. The sight of Wang Meng's defensive technique confirmed these whispers. He stood firm, his focus unshaken as golden energy surged from him, crackling with power. As the runner struck again, he summoned a radiant golden shield barrier, its sacred energy shimmering as it absorbed the impact and halted the monster's advance. The sacred shield warrior profession, known for its superior attributes and invincibility skills, allowed Wang Meng to momentarily withstand the runner's fury. The mage raised her staff and unleashed a powerful fire strike, dealing -70 damage to the runner. Observing the battle, Qin Feng noted that the mage's prophetic spell dealt twice the damage of a normal mage's attack and came with an additional prophetic fireball. The archer, possessing the hidden profession of sharp-eyed archer, had attributes twice as high as a regular archer and the ability to fire continuous arrows with precision. Among them, the healer stood slightly behind, wielding a mystical book to channel potent restorative energy over the team. As an oracle priest, their healing capacity was twice that of an ordinary priest and came with an initial group healing skill, ensuring the party could sustain the battle. Despite these advantages, the runner shattered Wang Meng's holy shield with a devastating strike. The impact sent the shield warrior flying backward, the force of the shockwave rippling through the battlefield. Doubt clouded the archer's mind as his arrows failed to land accurately. The runner was simply too fast, making long-range attacks difficult to land. Meanwhile, Wang Meng, the team's leader, relied on the healer's support to stay in the fight and encouraged his team to press forward, determined to defeat the boss despite the overwhelming odds. Yet, Qin Feng saw the flaw in this optimism. Unlike a controlled dungeon battle, fighting in the open risked attracting more monsters if it dragged on for too long. His instincts proved correct when sudden noises from the bushes revealed the approach of 2 monsters with glowing yellow eyes and open mouths. These creatures, known as contaminators, were common level 2 monsters covered in dark brown mud and capable of ranged attacks. A damage dealer from Wang Meng's group, wielding a massive 2-handed sword, quickly moved to protect his leader. He struck one of the mud monsters, splattering mud onto the bushes below. However, the attack proved less effective than anticipated, dealing only minimal damage and causing the swordsman to realize that the creature's defenses were significantly higher than expected. In retaliation, the mud monsters launched foul-smelling projectiles at both the swordsman and the mage, leaving them reeling. The swordsman found himself immobilized, his movement speed drastically reduced, while the mage, witnessing a tentacle-like mud appendage approaching, cried out in panic. Qin Feng's shadowy silhouette flickered and vanished from the cliff, melting seamlessly into the darkness. Completely silent, he moved undetected through the night. In one sudden, fluid motion, he broke from stealth, his figure blurring like a whisper on the wind as his blade sliced through the air. With a single, lethal strike, he dealt 441 damage, severing the contaminator's head in an instant before vanishing once more. The sudden intervention left Wang Meng's group stunned, each member processing the impossible speed and precision of the attack. The mage, struggling to comprehend the situation, questioned the identity of their mysterious savior, while the dual swordsman, gripped by disbelief, noted that even a level 2 contaminator, typically a formidable foe, had been dispatched instantly. In another flash, the head of the second mud monster was similarly removed, solidifying the group's awe and confusion. Wang Meng, sensing a glimmer of hope, rallied his team to focus on the remaining threat, the runner, and to continue fighting. Perched stealthily atop a tree, Qin Feng glanced downward as a series of notifications flickered before his eyes, detailing his progress. The system acknowledged the elimination of 2 level 2 contaminators, rewarding him with a modest gain of 40 experience points and a single evolution point. More interestingly, the spoils of battle included a skill book, Poison Dart classified as a normal rank ability and 8 days of transferable life. Upon inspecting the new skill, Qin Feng discovered its potential. The notifications described Poison Dart +2, silver, as an assassin's skill capable of throwing a poison dart with a maximum range of 14 meters. Upon impact, the skill added 120 attack damage and applied the poison status, with a cooldown of 5 seconds and a learning requirement of level 2. The poison status inflicted 50% continuous damage per second, lasted for 5 seconds, and could not stack or benefit from weakness bonuses. The battle escalated as the runner lunged forward, its spear-like limbs stabbing with brutal force, each strike sparking against Wang Meng's shield. The metallic screech echoed, but some of the creature's limbs slipped past his defense, spearing into his stomach with brutal efficiency. With a twisted sense of victory, the runner drove another limb straight through his body, lifting him off his feet like skewered human. Wang Meng let out a yell, spitting a mouthful of blood as his strength ebbed away. His mace and shield slipped from his weakening grasp and crashed to the ground. The archer, visibly shaken, cried out in concern for Wang Meng's safety. The healer, overwhelmed by the situation, realized that restoring Wang Meng's health in time would be impossible. Recognizing the futility of further resistance, the leader urged the others to retreat. However, before the team could withdraw, a sharp green light pierced through the air, striking the runner's skull with pinpoint accuracy. The attack dealt an enormous 845 quick attack damage as the runner howled in pain. The group watched in shock, their eyes and mouths widening as they realized the boss's health had dropped by half in a single moment. The terrain was painted in a sickly hue as torrents of green blood gushed from the wound. Wang Meng was sent sprawling to his hands and knees, trembling in pain but gradually recovering under the healer's care. The poison laced within the dart relentlessly eroded the runner's health, inflicting severe damage over time. Within moments, the monster succumbed, collapsing lifelessly to the ground. Notifications confirmed Qin Feng's triumph. The notifications announced that over 90% of the damage was attributed to Qin Feng, securing the loot for him. They also confirmed the elimination of the runner, bronze, the gain of 600 experience points, and advancement to level 3. Furthermore, the notifications revealed the acquisition of 2 evolution points and 55 days of transferable life. Evaluating the effectiveness of the poison dart skill, Qin Feng recognized its potential to dominate battles in the early and mid stages, especially when combined with his stealth abilities. The continuous damage inflicted by poison proved to be a critical advantage, allowing for efficient and decisive kills without revealing his position. Wang Meng, barely conscious and struggling with fresh wounds, reeled from the overwhelming pain, questioning whether he was even still human. As he lay there, the life essence of the defeated runner coalesced into a shimmering golden orb, the manifestation of the loot. his vision blurred, but his mind remained fixated on the glowing sphere. However, just as his awareness sharpened, the golden orb suddenly disappeared before his eyes, leaving him in stunned disbelief. Trembling as he pushed himself to his feet, Wang Meng bowed respectfully to the unseen savior, expressing his gratitude. He acknowledged that without their intervention, survival would have been impossible. Qin Feng, however, responded with a cold warning, advising against trusting others so readily in such a dangerous world. Wang Meng, taking the warning to heart, introduced himself and offered his support should their paths cross again in the future. One of his teammates, a mage who introduced herself as Big Li Zi, eagerly tried to make contact, only to be hastily pulled away by the group's healer, who urged a swift retreat from the battlefield. Qin Feng, making his way through the dangerous realm of the forgotten game of God, contemplated the potential of Wang Meng. In Qin Feng's estimation, Wang Meng was a reliable individual with significant resources, backed officially by Xia and possessing considerable fortune. Recognizing the benefits of establishing a stable sales channel, Qin Feng considered the possibility of selling in used gear through Wang Meng in the future. With the runner's life orb hovering above his palm and seeking to maximize the spoils, he activated Hand of Avarice, extracting even greater rewards. A series of notifications appeared, confirming and detailing the benefits of his victory. A surge of energy coursed through him as he obtained 3 evolution points, strengthening his abilities. The essence of his fallen enemies transformed into tangible benefits, granting him 55 transferable days of life. As the rewards continued to materialize, a new piece of equipment manifested, running leather leggings of bronze quality, automatically equipping onto him, further enhancing his combat readiness. The newly acquired leggings offered significant advantages for an assassin, enhancing physical defense, elemental resistance, and cooldown speed. As Qin Feng assessed the haul, he recognized the strategic advantage of trading surplus gear for tradable life once his backpack was full. The unprecedented rate of progress compared to his previous life fueled Qin Feng's determination to confront Song Fei, the one responsible for his past demise. Elsewhere, a fierce battle unfolded between players and an overwhelming horde of monsters. A shield warrior, witnessing the ever-increasing number of enemies, urged his companions to retreat. However, before they could act, the sky darkened under the looming shadow of a colossal monster, a grotesque, tree-like creature with numerous glowing blue eyes and a gaping hole between its chest and stomach. The sight of the monster struck paralyzing fear into the players, leaving them unable to react. Without warning, the monster unleashed a barrage of vines, each imbued with a deadly purple energy. The vines pierced the players effortlessly, resulting in an instant massacre. Meanwhile, back at the town's teleportation circle, the defeated players began to respawn. The atmosphere was tense and filled with frustration as a new group of warriors materialized. One of them, clearly exasperated by the continuous cycle of death and revival, cursed the monster's tendency to flee when injured. Another, a blonde man, voiced a more pressing concern: reaching level 3 was the only way to escape the game, yet progress seemed impossible. As he vented, others echoed his despair, recounting the horrors of watching larger groups fall to powerful monsters and bosses that appeared when too many players gathered. The grim realization of their predicament weighed heavily on them. The impossibility of reaching level 3 was a growing source of dread. Since all players had been transported into the game upon falling asleep, only their consciousness existed in this world. The longer they remained trapped, the greater the risk that their real bodies would succumb to starvation. Among those who had recently respawned was the archer Lizzie and her crew. Collapsed to their knees. They grappled with the relentless difficulty of the game. Lizzie questioned whether survival was even possible. Amidst the despair, the assassin and Lizzie's group voiced his concern about their rapidly decreasing lifespan. Having already died 3 times, the group had less than 10 years of tradable life remaining. Despite her own fears, Lizzie steeled herself and responded with unwavering resolve, declaring that they could not afford to die again, whether the game was real or not. A sudden leaderboard update drew the attention of the gathered players. At the top of the rankings was Shadow, the assassin who had already reached level 3, a feat that seemed impossible to most. Following closely behind was Wang Meng, a warrior who held the second rank despite still being at level 1. In third place was Balala, another warrior whose level also remained at level 1. The update sent ripples through the crowd, fueling both curiosity and unease as players processed the implications of the rankings. The appearance of the ranking list left Lizzie and the others in stunned disbelief. Lizzie's mind raced, trying to grasp how this mysterious figure had leveled up so rapidly. Believing that Shadow might possess critical knowledge or a method to expedite progress, Lizzie resolved to seek him out. Clenching her fist with determination, Lizzie issued a bold promise to her companions: if Shadow could lead them to level 3 and secure their escape from the game, she would personally reward him with 10 million in cash upon returning to reality. The sheer magnitude of the offer left the assassin and Lizzie's group stunned. Lizzie's eyes, however, burned with a mixture of hope and desperation. In her mind, no price was too great if it meant escaping the deadly confines of this world. Meanwhile, Qin Feng eliminated another monster with a precise pierce to the forehead using a poison dart. A series of notifications confirmed the success of the kill, acknowledging the defeat of a level 2 contaminator. The system recorded an increase of 20 experience points and the acquisition of a single evolution point. Satisfied with the progress, Qin Feng assessed the accumulated evolution points and decided to initiate an upgrade for the Hand of Avarice skill. The results of the enhancement became apparent as new notifications detailed the changes. 5 evolution points were expended, reducing the remaining balance to 0. The upgraded skill, now at Jade quality, allowed corpses of defeated monsters to yield an additional loot drop with an increased success rate, now reaching 160%. Additionally, any extra loot obtained carried a 20% chance of having its rarity elevated by 1 level. Impressed by the improved capabilities of the skill, Qin Feng considered the potential of further evolutions. The prospect of a 20% chance to enhance loot rarity offered a significant advantage. However, as Qin Feng examined the new details, an unsettling sight drew his attention: a massive, tree-like monster moved through the forest, absorbing several life orbs floating in front of its maw. This creature matched the description shared by the players who had encountered it earlier. A notification promptly identified the threat: the damned bronze-level boss. Analyzing the situation, Qin Feng realized that the boss was digesting the life energy, likely advancing toward a silver-level boss. The floating life orbs suggested that a group of about 40 players had been decimated by the monster. A quick glance at the inventory confirmed a troubling fact: Qin Feng's backpack was already full, rendering any immediate battle with the boss impractical. Opting for a strategic approach, Qin Feng marked the boss's location on the map, intending to return after offloading surplus items. In the nearby town, the atmosphere was tense and desperate. Word of a substantial bounty spread rapidly among the players. A man spoke of a rumor circulating through the crowds: someone was willing to pay 10 million if the top player, Shadow, could help others reach level 3. Desperation grew as more voices joined in, lamenting the endless loss of tradable life and the wealthy's apparent attempts to buy their way out. A green twin-tail wept, overwhelmed by despair, convinced that commoners like her had no chance of escaping. Her cry echoed through the crowd, her anguish amplifying the hopelessness spreading like a plague. Amid the clamor, Qin Feng, now identified as Shadow, appeared in town. The aura surrounding him and his sudden arrival left the nearby players stunned. Wasting no time, Qin Feng activated the game system to initiate a temporary sale. A notification appeared above him, announcing that equipment and skills were available for a limited time of 10 minutes, urging potential buyers to act quickly. Seated on the ground, Qin Feng spread out a mat displaying various pieces of gear. The sight drew an immediate crowd, each player voicing shock and curiosity. One observer noted the presence of 2 sets of bronze gear and speculated that Shadow must have slain a bronze-level boss. Another, recognizing the name, exclaimed about the identity of the mysterious seller as the number 1 player on the leaderboard. The crowd continued to murmur about the elusive top player Shadow. As desperation and hopelessness spread, a man questioned why Shadow's face couldn't be seen. Someone else explained that Shadow had activated the hide face function, a feature that preserved one's real-life appearance from being revealed in the game, further adding to the mystery surrounding him. Through the restless crowd, an orange-haired female mage dressed in upgraded purple gear with her face concealed approached with graceful elegance. Her demeanor was refined, holding a staff in one hand while the other rested behind her back. She was identified as Grey Rose, currently ranked 11th in Shell Village. Grey Rose inquired about the price of the ice cone spell, her tone measured but curious. Qin Feng, the seller, responded that the spell would cost 100 days of tradable life. He mentally noted Grey Rose's reputation and the fact that she too had activated the hide face function. Grey Rose hesitated at the price, questioning if Qin Feng could make it cheaper. Qin Feng firmly explained that the ice cone spell, a common skill, was valuable because it significantly increased the speed of monster elimination for mages during the early stages. He assured her that 100 days of tradable life was already a reasonable price. Attempting another approach, Grey Rose asked if real-world money could be used. Qin Feng suggested that if she possessed enough cash, she could always buy tradable life from others. Taking a moment to think, Grey Rose turned away and activated her team's channel to consult with her group. The team members quickly agreed, expressing their gratitude for Grey Rose's leadership that had already helped them reach level 2. They acknowledged that obtaining the ice cone spell would allow them to reach level 3 even faster, prioritizing their escape from the game. Satisfied with their decision, Grey Rose instructed her team members to transfer their tradable life to her, promising to repay them with real-world money once they returned to reality. Turning back to Qin Feng, she handed over the required 100 days of tradable life, finalizing the deal. Qin Feng mentally noted that an entire level 2 team must have killed at least 30 or 40 trackers, suggesting that their total tradable life far exceeded the 100-day cost. His thoughts were interrupted by a notification indicating the successful transaction. His tradable life had increased from 268 days to 368 days. As Qin Feng's first customer departs, a blonde archer, previously referred to as Lizzie, rushes forward with excitement. Placing her hands on her hips and looking down at him with a confident smile, she speaks as though entitled to his attention. She offers him a deal, demanding to be taken to level 3 in exchange for 10 million in cash upon returning to reality. Nearby observers murmur among themselves, astonished by the offer. The idea of earning such an enormous sum with so little effort leaves them in awe. Qin Feng immediately recognizes the woman as Jiang Li. Memories of his past life surface. She had once led a criminal gang, only to be wiped out by the authorities. Jiang Li, attempting to reassure him of her ability to pay, boasts about her father's position as the president of Dejiang Industries. She insists that anyone can verify her claims. Qin Feng, however, remains unmoved. His thoughts drift to past reports detailing how she had used cash to lure people into selling their tradable life, only to kidnap them and force them into labor. Those who disobeyed met their end in reality. To him, she was nothing more than scum. Rejecting her offer outright, he makes his stance clear. Jiang Li, unfazed, continues her persuasion. She argues that although Qin Feng is strong within the game, no one truly understands its mechanics yet. Aligning with her, she claims, would guarantee a life of luxury, cars, houses, women, anything he could desire. Still uninterested, Qin Feng dismisses her, stating that if she isn't here to buy, she should step aside and not interfere with his business. He internally acknowledges that cash has already lost its value, as tradable life is the true universal currency. Scoffing, Jiang Li insults him, claiming that she had been doing him a favor by asking for his help. If they were in reality, she insists, she would have already taught him a lesson. Qin Feng's gaze sharpens, his uncovered eye gleaming with a golden light as a shadowy aura forms around him. He warns her, one more word, and he will kill her until her life reaches 0. Fear grips Jiang Li and her group. Instinctively, they step back, their hands raised in surrender before hastily retreating. The crowd, which had witnessed the exchange, remains silent, sweat dripping from their faces as they watch the group flee. As the day progresses, Qin Feng completes his final transaction, selling the dim light tunic, bronze, in exchange for 19 days of tradable life. His total tradable life rises from 527 days to 546. The mage who makes the purchase celebrates, raising both hands in triumph as his team claps behind him, excited by the newfound strength that may help them reach level 3. With his business concluded, Qin Feng decides it is time to handle the damned. At this moment, no one is aware that tradable life has the potential to extract skills into reality. No one realizes that the godforsaken game will bring about the collapse of order in the real world. Activating his hidden shadow form, he vanishes from sight. The mage and his team, still celebrating, suddenly notice Qin Feng's absence. Confusion spreads among them as they search for him, unable to comprehend how he disappeared so quickly. A mix of awe and disbelief overtakes the crowd, many questioning the nature of his profession. Qin Feng moves away from the scene, certain that only one's own strength is the foundation of everything. Meanwhile, Jiangli and her group, having stopped running, pant as they catch their breath. Frustration fills her expression as she recalls how Shadow not only rejected her offer but also dared to threaten her. Vowing revenge, she resolves to eliminate him once she returns to reality. At that moment, a smug young man emerges from the shadows. Introducing himself as Mao Lijun, though preferring to be called Old Mao, he presents himself as a level 2 player with valuable knowledge on leveling up. He inquires if Jiangli's 10 million offer still stands. Intrigued, Jiangli presses for details, prompting Old Mao to reveal a leveling trick. He explains that putting all 5 initial attribute points into agility allows players to outrun crawlers, making leveling far more efficient. This revelation stuns Jiangli, who realizes too late that she had already allocated her points into strength. Frustration briefly flashes across her face before she shifts focus. Recognizing that Old Mao possesses useful knowledge, she decides to hire him instead. Offering 5 million, she instructs him to guide her to level 3, promising payment upon their return to reality. Old Mao readily accepts, dismissing Qin Feng as a fool. In his eyes, turning down an easy 10 million was an act of pure idiocy. Perched on a tree branch, the stealthy assassin observed the massive creature known as the Damned as it lumbered past, unaware of the lurking danger. The assassin noted that the boss had already evolved to Silver Tier, its form shrouded in a gray mist as it continued its evolution. The process of advancing from Silver to Gold Tier would take at least 7 or 8 hours. While the rewards were greater, green energy flickered in the assassin's hand as a poison dart materialized, too lazy to wait that long. Without hesitation, the assassin broke stealth, taking precise aim at one of the creature's eyes and striking true. The attack inflicted -659 damage, causing the Damned to unleash a piercing screech as the poison took effect, dealing an additional -219 damage per second. Activating Shadow Sneak, Qin Feng swiftly closed the distance, assessing the challenge ahead. A Silver Tier boss possessed 2 to 3 times the health of a Bronze Tier 1. The monster, still wailing in agony, gathered its strength and summoned a purple orb of energy above its head, unleashing a devastating rain of dark magic across the area. Recognizing the power behind the attack, Qin Feng evaluated the threat. The attack was the equivalent of 2 or 3 venom darts. A single drop of the cursed energy obliterated a tree, forcing him to abandon his charge and evade. The Curse Master was a formidable boss, its abilities focused on wide-area attacks with high damage output. After launching the venom dart, Qin Feng had immediately retreated, narrowly escaping the attack's reach. If the attack had landed, his current health and defense would have left him as good as dead. The monster, now aware of Qin Feng's presence, turned its gaze toward him and launched another fierce assault. However, the assassin maintained his agility, weaving through the attacks while anticipating the moment his stealth ability would be ready again. His strategy was clear: wait for the cooldown to end, exploit a gap in the boss's offensive, strike hard, and retreat under the cover of stealth. As the creature trembled, momentarily recovering from exertion, the opening arrived. Qin Feng seized the chance, thinking decisively that now was the time. Emerging from the shadows once more, he delivered another precise strike, inflicting -659 damage. The poison continued its relentless toll, draining -219 health per second. The curse master shrieked in agony before abruptly turning and fleeing in the opposite direction. Observing the retreating monster, Qin Feng noted that its health was nearly depleted. Rather than making a futile, dying struggle, the creature had chosen to flee, a decision that made the hunt far easier. The monstrous being, too slow to escape, became prey. Qin Feng leaped forward, delivering a final, devastating blow, ending the battle. A system notification appeared, confirming the defeat of the Curse Master, a silver-tier entity. The battle resulted in a substantial gain, 1,800 experience points, enough to push Qin Feng to level 5, including a significant increase in evolution points and the acquisition of 124 days of tradable lifespan. A wave of satisfaction washed over Qin Feng as laughter escaped him, the achievement surpassing expectations. The intense struggle had yielded not only 2 level-ups but also an impressive total of 4 evolution points. Without hesitation, he activated Greedy Hand, seeking to maximize the benefits of victory. Another set of notifications followed, confirming the successful use of the skill. The rewards multiplied further, adding another set of evolution points and an additional 248 days of tradable lifespan. As the extent of the gains became clear, Qin Feng marveled at the sheer magnitude of the outcome. The silver-tier boss had provided a total of 12 evolution points and 372 days of tradable lifespan, an unprecedented haul. Before the excitement could settle, another notification emerged, revealing that Greedy Hand's extra effect had been triggered. One of the acquired loot items had undergone an unexpected transformation, its rank ascending from silver tier to gold tier. A golden item shimmered among the fallen loot. Qin Feng acknowledged the power of the Emerald Greedy Hand, which had a 20% chance to upgrade loot by 1 tier. Scanning the battlefield, he saw 7 or 8 pieces of equipment scattered around. With only 10 inventory slots left, he faced a dilemma. Going back to town after every battle to manage loot was a frustrating waste of time. He hoped the Curse Master had dropped a storage ring or something to expand his inventory. Reaching out, he grabbed the mysterious golden item. Back in town, the grateful mage who had been saved by Qin Feng appeared at the teleportation circle, now equipped with better gear. Relief washed over her as she expressed gratitude for the safe return of herself and her party. She had finally made it back alive, having reached level 3 and successfully returned to town. They all praised Wang Meng's strength, and Wang Meng acknowledged their collective effort. Fidgeting with her fingers and blushing, the mage expressed regret over not adding the powerful figure who had saved them as a friend back then. She suspected that her muddy appearance had deterred him. The party's archer, his own face turning red, jested that if she had been wearing her freshly acquired gear at the time, the outcome might have been different. Suddenly, a notification flashed across the screen, updating the leaderboard. The Shadow Assassin had reached first place at level 5, with Wang Meng and Balala, both level 3 warriors, in second and third. The news stunned the town, sparking conversations among the players. One player speculated that the rapid jump from level 3 to level 5 must have come from defeating a powerful boss. Another recalled seeing the Shadow Assassin just 10 minutes ago selling equipment, baffled at how 2 levels could be gained so quickly. Meanwhile, a third player, thinking about personal gain, hoped the big shot might take an interest in his sister, believing that a connection could bring some benefit and help with leveling up. However, another player dismissed the idea, pointing out that if the assassin had refused 10 million, he would also refuse her. Even members of Wang Meng's party were stunned by the sudden update. The archer voiced his frustration, lamenting that they had just reached level 3, while the Shadow Assassin had already advanced to level 5. He expressed how difficult it seemed to keep up with such rapid progress, making it seem impossible to keep up. Wang Meng himself attempts to calm his team, suggesting that they focus on the bigger picture rather than the sudden gap in power. He advises them to return to reality temporarily to inform their families and friends about the ominous nature of the game. Recognizing the potential for chaos in the world, he emphasizes the need to prepare their loved ones. The group agrees to this plan and decides to log off for the time being. After logging off, Wang Meng sat up on a bed, holding his head with a slight expression of discomfort. Several excited voices erupted around him, their concern evident. One of them spotted him awake and urgently called for the team leader. As his surroundings became clearer, the room was filled with people in uniforms. Others gathered around, relieved but anxious. A colleague asked if he was okay, explaining how his body had appeared semi-transparent moments ago, scaring everyone. An emotional officer, eyes teary, scolded Wang Meng for causing such a scare and admitted to monitoring a suspect for him, urging him to rest. Despite his dizziness, Wang Meng quickly regained focus. His voice was firm as he ordered everyone in the blue and white building to gather. Something big was happening, and there was no time to waste. Midway through the meeting, Wang Meng had already detailed his experience and the people he encountered, confirming the existence of a mysterious player known by the code name Shadow. He explained that when Shadow saved his group, the player was only at level 3. However, by the time Wang Meng's team reached the same level, Shadow had already surged to level 5, an impressive leap of 2 levels in such a short span of time. A man spoke up, his tone laced with disdain and jealousy, questioning how Shadow could have advanced so quickly and whether this achievement made him the first in the world to reach level 5. Wang Meng suggested that Shadow might have defeated some powerful boss to progress that rapidly. Another man found it strange that someone at level 3 an hour ago hadn't yet returned to reality. He wondered if the person had no family to notify. Wang Meng admitted he had no idea, speculating that perhaps there was no one waiting for him in reality. A female officer named Anyu, her badge clearly visible on her chest, posed a bold theory. She suggested that perhaps Shadow was a time traveler, pointing out that time travelers were often orphans who advanced quickly in games. Though her comment hit close to the truth, her colleagues only looked at her skeptically, their silence tinged with disapproval. Embarrassed, Anyu poked her tongue out, her cheeks flushing red. Her superior, wearing a blue shirt with 2 stars on the collar, scolded her for not taking the situation seriously. He then shifted the discussion to the grim reports gathered about the game abandoned by God. New investigations indicated that some older players had died shortly after falling asleep, and the data compared from those who had returned to reality confirmed that these individuals had died multiple times within the game. The implications were horrifying. Death within the game meant death in reality. A subordinate voiced the growing unease among the group, acknowledging that this was a supernatural event beyond ordinary understanding. The superior agreed, stating that this was likely an invasion of unknown powers and that emergency orders had been issued from higher authorities. Local advance teams were to be assembled to explore Abandoned by God and gather critical information. All countries were launching similar efforts to investigate the game, and falling behind would mean losing the initiative on an international scale. The superior stressed that obtaining information at any cost was essential. He appointed Anyu as the leader of Team 1 and Wang Meng as the sub-leader, instructing them to select their team members. According to Wang Meng's description, Shadow's personality appeared to be decent, and the superior suggested that trying to establish contact with him could be valuable. His reasoning for placing Anyu in charge was her personality, which he believed suited the task of investigating Shadow. The superior made it clear that uncovering Shadow's real identity was a priority. Ideally, they were to establish cooperation with Shadow on behalf of the government to gain access to whatever information he possessed. For the rest of the team, maintaining social stability during this critical period was their most important task. The whole team acknowledged the orders with a resounding agreement, and with that, the meeting was officially adjourned. As the sun sets behind a building, signaling the end of a long day, a group of friends gathers to discuss the unsettling events. A freckled girl shares Xiang Wei's rumor: those who sleep at the same time in the same area wake up in the same game town. A blazerless girl panics for her inexperienced parents and plans to rush home. A third girl, sporting a ponytail, advises caution, suggesting that they should focus on developing their own abilities first before attempting to reunite with their families. Seated nearby, Qin Xiaoyu, with the plaster still stuck to her face while staring at her phone. Frustration clouds her thoughts as she wonders why Qin Feng has not made any effort to reach out despite the chaos unfolding. She recalls how, in the past, Qin Feng always found a way to calm her down whenever she was angry. However, this time, he had not only failed to apologize but had even struck her, an act that neither of their parents had ever done. Qin Xiaoyu's indignation flares as she resolves never to forgive him unless he apologizes 1,000 times. To her, the slap had been entirely unjustified. After all, she had only skipped classes to attend a concert by Song Fei, a singer she deeply admired. In her mind, the experience had been worth the trouble, especially now that another opportunity might never come again with the emergence of the game abandoned by God. Memories of the concert returned, the energy of Song Fei's performance and the way he acknowledged the crowd. Qin Xiaoyu's expression softened as she recalled the moment, her frustration briefly giving way to longing and admiration. A sudden idea strikes her. With the realization that people enter the game abandoned by God when they sleep, she becomes determined to find Song Fei within the game world. The thought brings a blush to her cheeks as excitement replaces her anger. While preparing for bed, her mind shifts to Zhang Wei, who had leveled up rapidly in the game. Seeing him as an expert, she decides to seek his advice. A moment later, Zhang Wei sat among a group of teenagers, his focus on his phone as a message from Qin Xiaoyu appeared. Her tone was unusually polite and deferential, addressing him as Great Master Zhang Wei while seeking his guidance. A smug smile spread across his face, clearly pleased by the unexpected respect. He saw the situation as a golden opportunity to impress Qin Xiaoyu, whom he regarded as a haughty goddess. Eager to capitalize on the moment, Zhang Wei advises Qin Xiaoyu to allocate all her initial attribute points to agility upon entering the game, claiming that otherwise, she would be too slow and vulnerable to monsters. When Qin Xiaoyu hesitantly asks if this advice applies to magic classes as well, Zhang Wei reassures her, explaining that agility can also accelerate spellcasting in the early stages. Qin Xiaoyu's uncertainty persists as she voices her concern about failing despite focusing on agility. Zhang Wei confidently dismisses her worries, explaining that once someone in the town reaches level 5, they will unlock the town's teleportation portal. He offers to guide her personally once the portal is active, attempting to sound heroic as he promises to take her flying. Reassured by Zhang Wei's words, Qin Xiaoyu celebrates softly, her spirits lifted by the prospect of immediate assistance. The thought of having a reliable guide soothes her worries about the game. Her excitement grows as she contemplates outpacing Qin Feng in levels and proving him wrong. Closing her eyes, Qin Xiaoyu's last thoughts before drifting off to sleep are filled with defiance and determination. She imagines herself advancing swiftly in the game, far ahead of Qin Feng, and resolves not to wait for him once she gains the upper hand. After defeating the damned cursed master, Qin Feng examines the loot dropped by the monster. Among the items, a golden ring catches his attention. A notification describes it as the Damned Ring, gold, usable by all classes and providing a significant boost of +8 to all attributes, +26 to dark resistance, and a 0.1 increase to weak point damage multiplier. The level requirement for this item is 4. Qin Feng assesses the ring's benefits, recognizing that the total attribute bonus of +32 is equivalent to the gains from leveling up 3 times. Additionally, the dark resistance and improved damage multiplier present valuable advantages against numerous monsters. Another item that stands out is an ability book titled Instant Cut, Silver, exclusive to the Assassin class. The ability enables a dash up to 15 meters with an invisible state lasting 5 seconds, delivering 3 slashes to all enemies in the path. The cooldown for this skill is 12 seconds. The slashes are treated as back attacks but cannot trigger weak point damage. Recognizing the potential of this area damage ability, Qin Feng decides to learn it immediately. With some evolution points remaining, Qin Feng chooses to enhance an existing skill, Hand of Avarice. After spending 8 evolution points, the ability evolves from Jade to Diamond grade, boosting the chances of obtaining extra loot from 160% to 220% and increasing the likelihood of the extra loot upgrading in quality from 20% to 40%. Qin Feng is satisfied with the improvement, realizing that each monster defeated would now yield loot equivalent to what others would get from killing 3 monsters. Qin Feng, with 4 evolution points left, decides to upgrade Instant Cut by 3 levels. After the upgrade, the ability's range extends to 21 meters, the invisible state lasts 7 seconds, and the number of slashes increases to 5. The cut width expands to 3.1 meters and the damage per slash rises to 200 points. However, Qin Feng notices that the cooldown period remains unchanged, which he finds slightly inconvenient. Nevertheless, the enhancements make Instant Cut a powerful tool for continuous invisibility and rapid elimination of enemies. Among the remaining loot, a silver-level warrior skill book titled Battle Cry catches Qin Feng's attention. Although not directly useful, he considers selling it for profit. As he reviews his newly acquired items, a sudden noise interrupts him. Qin Feng's heightened senses detect an approaching threat, 3 assembled crawlers of level 4. Viewing this as an opportunity to test the improved Instant Cut, Qin Feng swiftly executes the ability, delivering a flurry of slashes that inflict -725 damage each, swiftly eliminating the attackers. A system notification confirmed the successful kills, awarding 80 experience points and granting 5 days of transferable life. Qin Feng reflects on the efficiency of his combat style, recognizing that the enhanced Instant Cut significantly shortens battle durations, reducing the risk of unexpected complications. His current reserve of transferable life stands at 618 days, yet the minimum requirement to extract skills and equipment from the game into reality is 900 days, approximately 2.5 years. Determined to reach this goal, Qin Feng plans to return to town, sell the items in his backpack, and accumulate enough transferable life to unlock the ability to extract items into the real world. He sets a clear target, to reach level 10, which will allow the extraction of skills and equipment from the game into reality. While moving stealthily through the forest on his way back to town, he overheard a conversation nearby. Jiangli and her party were speaking with old Mao, who had agreed to help her reach level 3 in exchange for 5,000 units of real-life currency. The blonde archer proudly stated her intention to return to reality and provided her phone number, inviting old Mao to contact her directly. She also expressed interest in buying tradable lifespan, offering 10,000 units per day. Old Mao, amused by the offer, scoffed at the idea of Shadow underestimating Lizzie and suggested continuing the discussion in reality. Oblivious to the hidden observer, Qin Feng slipped past the group undetected, his presence masked by stealth. Old Mao dismissed any concerns about the game affecting lifespan, feeling clever for turning gaming skills into profit. Eventually, Qin Feng reached his destination and activated the teleportation mechanics to Shell Town. By extending his hand, he summoned a surge of electrifying blue energy, opening a portal. A notification confirmed the successful activation of the Shell Town teleportation formation. It granted 1 free teleportation per day, with additional uses costing tradable lifespan. So far, no other active teleportation formations had been discovered in Jianghai City. Qin Feng explained that for teleportation to be effective, formations on both ends needed to be activated. Recalling memories from a previous life, he mentioned that Song Fei had been in Firefly Town and considered setting up an alert to notify him when Firefly Town's teleportation formation was activated. However, his primary objective remained to reach level 10 and venture into the God's Abandoned Realm, where the true challenges of the game awaited. Afterward, Qin Feng proceeded to his selling spot in town, utilizing the game's selling feature to advertise his items briefly. A notification above his head indicated a limited-time sale, selling equipment and skills for only 10 seconds. First come, first serve. The announcement sparked an excited uproar among the gathered crowd. Some spectators eagerly awaited the chance to purchase items, with one individual having saved 150 days of lifespan for this opportunity. The crowd buzzed with anticipation, recalling past sales where valuable skills like the Icicle spell had significantly boosted player rankings. This time, a silver-tier Battle Roar skill book for warriors was displayed. A pleased warrior promptly claimed the book, and a notification confirmed the successful exchange, deducting 300 days of tradable lifespan. Skepticism arose among some bystanders regarding the cost of the skill book. However, others defended the purchase, arguing that the book's benefits in enhancing a warrior's efficiency would allow the lifespan cost to be regained swiftly. Eager voices from the crowd clamored for various items to bolster their strength and that of their parties. Once all items were sold out, Qin Feng reviewed his system's window. The sale had concluded within a minute, netting him 650 days of tradable lifespan, raising his total to 2,174 days. However, Qin Feng deemed this amount insufficient for bringing his level, attributes, profession, and equipment into reality, acknowledging the long road ahead. Meanwhile, onlookers, left disappointed at having missed out, pleaded for another opportunity to purchase items, hoping that Qin Feng would sell again at the same spot. Amidst the lively bustle of the town, Qin Feng suddenly heard a gentle female voice addressing him as expert and offering a treasure. Turning to look, he saw the young mage from Wang Ming's party, adorned in new gear, standing nervously before him. Her cheeks were slightly flushed as she extended her hand, revealing a ring. A system notification identified the item as a space ring with 12 slots of inventory space, which did not occupy the ring or backpack equipment slots. Qin Feng's eyes widened upon realizing that the ring was a rare form of special storage equipment. He understood its value lay in its ability to bypass the slot restrictions, considering that each player could only carry a maximum of 3 storage backpacks. Despite being a potential drop from any monster, the chance of obtaining such an item was exceedingly low. Qin Feng couldn't help but marvel at the young mage's extraordinary luck in acquiring it so early. The surrounding crowd stared at the pair in amazement, mouths agape and eyes wide with disbelief. Maintaining his composure, Qin Feng inquired about the price of the ring, recalling that a similar item could sell for 3,600 days of tradable lifespan in the past. The young mage, now more confident, smiled warmly and clarified that she did not seek lifespan in return. Instead, she expressed her desire to add Qin Feng as a friend and requested his assistance in forming a party to defeat a boss. He agreed and a notification confirmed that the player Black Plum had accepted the friend request. As the newly formed party departed from the bustling town, Qin Feng questioned the type of boss they were about to face. Black Plum explained that she had seen a tattered boat in the swamp, though she had been too far away to identify it clearly. This description triggered a realization in Qin Feng's mind: it could be the Golden Ghost ship, a rare special boss known for appearing at any level. The appearance of this boss was extremely infrequent, and it was renowned for dropping valuable special equipment. Qin Feng recalled that every time the Golden Ghost ship emerged, it sparked fierce battles among various guilds. A ship appearing at the beginner village was likely to be level 5, making it the easiest variant to defeat. The situation seemed almost too fortunate, encountering the Golden Ghost ship, receiving the rare storage ring, and joining Wang Ming's party. Qin Feng began to suspect that Black Plum might be the rumored koi fish, a player blessed with extraordinary luck. When asked how she had discovered the boss, Black Plum recounted that after finishing her meal offline, she returned to the game, eager to level up with her party. Finding them progressing slowly, she decided to explore and accidentally stumbled upon the gold-tier boss beneath a cliff. Qin Feng recalled rumors from his past life that Wang Ming's party included a member with a koi fish physique, capable of encountering rare bosses, treasure chests, underground palaces, and temples by sheer luck. Initially dismissed as a smokescreen to conceal information, the legend now seemed undeniably real. Realizing that the girl standing before him was the luckiest player in the forgotten game of God, Qin Feng's gaze grew more intense. Unaware of the true reason for Qin Feng's stare, Black Plum's face turned red once more as she clutched her staff nervously. She hesitantly asked why he was looking at her that way. Regaining his composure, Qin Feng dismissed the matter with a simple remark. The two proceeded past the town gates into the forest, unaware that a spy, previously hidden among the crowd, was silently trailing them from the shadows. Shortly after, near the outskirts of town, a confident man with spiky hair addressed a group of bandits. Seated cross-legged, he boasted about past conquests, promising a prosperous future to those who followed him. As he spoke, the spy from earlier rushed into the camp, breathless and urgent. He informed the bandit leader that Qin Feng had left town with a girl. The bandit leader smirked, mocking Qin Feng's apparent impulsiveness. As he rallied his subordinates, the bandits grinned eagerly, ready to ambush the unsuspecting pair. Qin Feng proposed a deal to Black Plum regarding the upcoming battle with the boss. He suggested that if the boss dropped any equipment or skill books that Black Plum's party could use, those items would be given to them, while the rest of the loot would belong to him. Black Plum, surprised by the offer, hesitated for a moment before agreeing. However, she voiced concern about Captain Wang Meng and the others. Qin Feng pointed out that if none of the loot suited an assassin, he would gain nothing from the fight. Black Plum, still unsure, made a small request. If any equipment dropped that suited Wang Meng and the rest, she asked if Qin Feng could sell it to them at a discount. Qin Feng agreed without hesitation, putting her at ease. Relieved, Black Plum suggested waiting for Captain Wang Meng to come online before setting off. Curious about their current destination, she asked Qin Feng where they were heading. Qin Feng responded calmly that they were on their way to fight the gold-tier boss. Black Plum's face quickly turned purple with shock. As a mage without defensive capabilities, she trembled at the thought of facing such a powerful enemy. She nervously pointed out that while Qin Feng, as an assassin, could turn invisible, she herself could not withstand the boss's attacks. Qin Feng, unfazed, assured her that he alone was enough to handle the situation and instructed her to watch safely from a distance. This only deepened her disbelief, as she gripped her staff tightly, thinking that despite knowing Qin Feng's strength, the idea of defeating a gold-tier boss alone seemed utterly absurd. Sensing danger, Qin Feng disappeared without a word. Black Plum, bewildered, looked around in a panic, calling out for him. Unbeknownst to her, a group of bandits had been silently tailing them. Hidden among the trees, one of the bandits reported to his leader that the shadow had vanished. The bandit leader laughed confidently, assuming that Qin Feng had deceived Black Plum and abandoned her in the wild. Seeing an opportunity, the leader instructed his men to capture the girl, promising them rewards for following him. His subordinates, eager and unknowing of the danger lurking, praised his foresight. Hidden in the shadows, Qin Feng waited patiently like a hunter before striking. As the bandit leader advanced with a grin, a shadow flashed past him. Before any of the bandits could react, Qin Feng activated Instant Shadow Slash, unleashing a flurry of razor-sharp rays of light that tore through the air, shredding through them like a wave of relentless blades. A system notification confirmed the result. The deaths of 5 players had earned Qin Feng 12 tradable lifespan in total. Turning back to the fading golden light where the bandits had once stood, Qin Feng dismissed the poor loot, comparing them to weak monsters. Amidst the aftermath, only scattered remains lingered, the bandit leader's severed head among them, his arrogant grin replaced by clenched teeth and furrowed brows in a final, frozen scowl before vanishing into light. Reappearing beside Black Plum, Qin Feng's sudden return startled her. She asked where he had gone, her tone a mix of confusion and concern. Qin Feng casually replied that a few people had been following them, so he sent them back to town. Misunderstanding his absence, Black Plum innocently assumed he had gone to relieve himself. Her curiosity then took an unexpected turn as she fixated on the practicalities of Qin Feng's invisibility, wondering if he could relieve himself unseen and whether the waste would suddenly become visible. Qin Feng stared at her in disbelief before simply telling her to hurry up and lead the way to the boss. In the bustling town square, numerous new players were still entering the forbidden game of God for the very first time. Qin Xiaoyu materialized at the starting area, her long black hair cascading down her back, and her dark purple dress swaying gently as her class-specific weapon appeared before her, a staff crowned with a half-moon orb. Her eyes widened with curiosity, and excitement filled her expression as she took in the unfamiliar surroundings with awe. The sensation of reality stunned her, the vividness of the world around her defying expectation. A man standing nearby noticed the curiosity of an obvious newcomer. Alongside another individual who was also observing the situation, they appeared more like bandits searching for prey than mere bystanders. Perhaps their interest was piqued because the newcomer resembled a clueless newborn duck rather than a seasoned warrior, unsure whether to feel grateful or saddened by the recent battle that had unfolded. Qin Xiaoyu, overcome with excitement, exclaimed with enthusiasm after obtaining a hidden class called Sacrifice. She tightly gripped her staff and repeated her thoughts aloud, expressing how powerful this new class must be and how it would surely make her worthy of Song Fei's approval. However, her cheerful expression quickly turned dark, and her eyes filled with disdain as her thoughts shifted. She wondered where Qin Feng had gone. He was always attentive and constantly cared about her, but when it truly mattered, he was nowhere to be relied upon. Her mind then turned cold and indifferent. With a hidden class in her possession and Zhang Wei promising to help her level up, Qin Feng was no longer a concern. She decided he could fend for himself, there was no reason to care about him anymore. As her gaze lifted, she noticed the leaderboard floating in the air. Observing the top 3 players, she was astonished. The highest-ranked player, Shadow, had already reached level 6, while Zhang Wei was only at level 3. Despite his constant boasting about his strength, it was clear that Shadow was the true expert. Qin Xiaoyu concluded that if she could align herself with Shadow, her leveling progress would accelerate far beyond what Zhang Wei could offer. Yet, uncertainty clouded her mind as she pondered where to find this elusive expert. At the center of town, Wang Meng stood with his archer and the fellow warrior from his party, engaged in a heated discussion. Frustration was evident in Wang Meng's tone as he complained about being unable to contact Swaying with the Wind. Time was running out, and they had no luxury to wait. The warrior pointed out that without a healer, their ability to kill mobs was severely hindered. The archer agreed, acknowledging that they lacked the solo farming prowess of Shadow and suggesting they find another healer to join their party. As the group deliberated their options, a soft female voice interrupted their conversation. Turning around, they saw Qin Xiaoyu standing nearby, offering them a warm smile. Having overheard their conversation, she seized the opportunity and addressed them, revealing that she possessed the hidden class Life Sacrifice and inquired if they were in need of a healer. Standing atop a cliff, Qin Feng and Black Plum observed the swamp below. A figure, resembling Sharon the ferryman of Hades but in skeletal form, drifted aimlessly through the shallow waters, leaning on his punt pole. Qin Feng immediately identified the target, confirming it was the Golden Ghost ship. Without hesitation, he instructed Black Plum to stay hidden and be wary of ambushes while he dealt with the boss. Before she could finish her words of caution, he had already vanished from sight. As Qin Feng leaped down into the shallow swamp waters, a notification appeared, warning that the area had become a violent domain due to the influence of the ghost ship, where the rate of lifespan loss was accelerated by 100 times. Qin Feng calculated the risk, realizing that staying in this domain for 15 minutes would consume an entire day of lifespan. However, since the violent domain was only temporary, the effect was manageable. His gaze shifted to the Golden Ghost ship where 2 green illuminated golden bells dangled from the high prow. A skeleton with long black hair, shrouded in a purple aura, stood at the helm. A new notification appeared, indicating that the Golden Ghost ship was at level 5, classified as a gold-tier special entity, with a countdown of 45 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. Qin Feng noted the 45-minute countdown, which was more than enough time to eliminate the boss. He unleashed a flurry of slashes using instant shadow slash, each strike dealing 549 damage. Sharp blue light scattered across the battlefield as the boss shifted its focus, attempting to locate its attacker. Its cold, purple-flamed pupils turned their focus, the ember-like glow scanning the swamp in search of the unseen attacker. Taking advantage of the moment, Qin Feng followed up with Venom Dart, striking one of the golden bells enveloped in a green aura. He immediately executed Stealth Break Strike, landing a critical hit that dealt 621 damage. As continuous poison damage ticked away, inflicting 207 damage per second, Qin Feng analyzed the situation, recognizing several key challenges in defeating the Golden Ghost ship. The first was that many players misunderstood the ship's true weakness. Contrary to common belief, the real target was not the skeleton or the ship itself but the Ghostfire bell at the tip of the ship. The second challenge arose once the weakness was attacked. The ship would manipulate the surrounding water, launching a massive area of effect, AoE, attack. As the jawless skeleton's purple flame eyes burned fiercely, the swamp waters surged violently, creating hundreds of uncontrollable water tornadoes that fired out in all directions. These water pillars inflicted abnormally high damage, capable of overwhelming early-stage warriors, even those wearing a full set of silver armor. Fortunately, Qin Feng's Shadow class possessed exceptional agility, allowing him to dodge the attacks effortlessly. The third and final challenge came after the AoE attack. The Golden Ghost ship would summon 12 decaying water ghosts, each possessing the strength of a silver-tier opponent. These ghosts would attack relentlessly, driving most parties into chaos. Additionally, a decaying water ghost would be summoned every 3 minutes, and if they were not dealt with quickly, the increasing numbers would lead to a full party wipe. However, Qin Feng maintained a state of invisibility from the beginning, ensuring that the summoned ghosts could not detect his presence. All that was required now was to find the right angle for a decisive strike. With precision and speed, Qin Feng unleashed a flurry of instant shadow slashes, delivering up to 1201 damage per hit. The decaying water ghosts perished in a flash, leaving Black Plum in awe as she witnessed the display of power. She marveled at Qin Feng's skill, describing him as a top-ranked expert who moved with such precision that he seemed to appear and disappear without a trace. The boss had already lost half of its health and hadn't even been given a chance to counterattack. Qin Feng, referring to Black Plum as Little Black, remained calm despite the situation, spoke casually about his imminent death, as though discussing a minor inconvenience. His tone was unnervingly composed, prompting Black Plum's shocked reaction. Confused and alarmed, she questioned the sudden statement, pointing out that he currently had the upper hand. She also expressed bewilderment at being called Little Black, emphasizing that her actual name was Plum, Big Plum, not something that sounded like a dog's name. Qin Feng acknowledged her correction but continued to call her Little Black, much to her dismay. An army of bandits marched through the echoing forest, their footsteps heavy and synchronized. At the front, the bandit leader, who had learned a harsh lesson from previous encounters, now wore a look of fury instead of his usual arrogant grin. His clenched jaw and narrowed eyes reflected deep frustration. The bandit leader, recalling his past, seethed with rage. He had once killed legends effortlessly, one after another, but now he was being outmaneuvered by a mere girl. A punk-styled bandit, with hair shaped like a three-pointed star, rushed forward to report. He had spotted the target. The little chick was positioned at the cliff ahead, while the Shadow class expert was challenging the boss solo at the bottom of the cliff. The bandit leader, his expression hardened, ordered the advance. This time, he had gathered all his brothers and refused to believe that victory was beyond reach. At the bottom of the cliff, Qin Feng observed the battlefield carefully. His thoughts shifted to the fourth and most dangerous phase of the battle. When the Golden Ghost ship reached half health, it would unleash a devastating soul surge. The swamp's murky green water rippled as the skeleton boss raised its punt pole high. Its purple aura surged upward, flowing through its bony frame and releasing countless circular waves of energy. These waves expanded outward, covering the entire swamp like an enormous, oppressive umbrella. Qin Feng's mind raced, calculating the danger. Movement was impossible for the next 5 seconds, dodging was no longer an option. On the cliff, Black Plum stood silently, her face pale with worry. Her chin rested on her hand, her mouth slightly agape as she watched the unfolding scene. Her eyes widened as Qin Feng became visibly immobilized, his fate seemingly sealed. The swamp water surged, each ripple and strand moving with purpose, locking onto Qin Feng's exact position. In an instant, the water consumed him. Qin Feng was struck down in a single blow, his body vanishing as a massive 1059 damage registered. A notification appeared, stating that 326 years of untradeable lifespan and 1,087 days of tradable lifespan had been lost upon death. From the top of the cliff, the bandit leader and his group watched the battle unfold below. Laughter erupted from the leader, filled with mockery, as the so-called expert who had gained fame had foolishly challenged a gold boss alone and met a swift end. The leader's eyes gleamed with greed as attention shifted to the massive lifespan light orb left behind by the fallen dog Shadow. The orb, rich with energy, contained enough lifespan to last over 100 days. Eager to claim the prize, the leader rallied the bandits, urging them to attack. With the boss weakened and only half its health remaining, victory seemed certain. The leader, brimming with confidence, declared that the spoils would soon belong to the underdog, ready to devour the fallen big dog. As the bandits approached the swamp where the life orb shimmered just ahead, an unexpected phenomenon occurred. The dark, grim clouds above the swamp suddenly cleared, and rays of heavenly, crystal-clear light shone down. A staircase made of white clouds appeared, leading upward through an opening in the sky. The radiant glow resembled the passageway to heaven itself. This divine sight left the bandits frozen in awe, their advance halted. Sweat dripped down their faces as they gazed upward, unable to comprehend the phenomenon. The leader, gripping his axe tightly, stood ready but was visibly shaken, uncertain of what lay before him as the warm, otherworldly light bathed the surroundings. The bandits, having met their demise, resurrected at the Shell Town Resurrection Circle, their frustration evident. One of the goons expressed disbelief at the boss's strength and questioned how the shadow managed to reduce its health by half, finding the situation unbelievable. Another, sporting a punk hairstyle, found it ridiculous that upon entering the swamp, they were instantly killed by a water pillar. A bald bandit voiced concerns about the numerous small mobs, questioning how they could be defeated. The bandit leader, determined, declared that despite their significant losses, they would continue onward, refusing to accept defeat. Meanwhile, Qin Feng, having invested heavily in agility, made rapid progress back to the boss battle. Upon leaping into the swamp, he was slightly confused to see not just the 2 life orbs he had dropped upon death but several more alongside them. He greeted his companion, Little Black, and inquired about the abundance of lifespan light orbs. Big Plum, acknowledging Qin Feng's swift return, explained that a group had noisily charged in but were wiped out by the water column. Amused, Qin Feng remarked that they had overestimated their own strength. He recalled that in his previous life, he had suffered greatly because of the ghost ship. The golden ghost ship would only release its immobilization skill once, dealing with the rest of its health was relatively easy. However, when damaged below half health, there was a fixed chance it would disappear and reappear far away, making it difficult for average players to kill. Re-entering battle mode, Qin Feng hurled a poison dart toward the golden ship's bells, targeting a critical point while circling out of range. He moved swiftly into stealth, avoiding the skeleton boss's counterattack as it began to charge up its next strike. Qin Feng believed he had long since seen through the boss's movement patterns. He used that knowledge to his advantage. In a flash, he reappeared behind the boss, executing instant shadow slash. A flurry of precise strikes landed cleanly, disrupting the boss's build-up and throwing its attack into disarray. The bandit team arrived at the cliff's edge once more. The punk-styled bandit pointed out that the same individual was fighting the boss again. The bandit leader saw this as an opportunity to eliminate both the fighter and the boss. Black Plum, noticing the group's return, expressed frustration at their persistent troublemaking. Observing that the expert was about to kill the boss, she resolved not to let the bandits interfere. Channeling magical electrical energy through her staff, she fired at the group, striking the leader and a subordinate, causing 45 hit points of damage. However, this action revealed her position at the opposite end of the cliff. The damage inflicted was insufficient compared to Qin Feng's attacks and only drew attention to herself rather than eliminating the threat. The leader, feeling the effects of the attack, angrily demanded to know who was responsible. The punk-styled bandit identified the mage girl as the attacker. Regaining his composure and grinning, the leader declared that she was courting death and ordered her elimination. Realizing the ineffectiveness of her attack, Black Plum became frightened and began to flee in the opposite direction. The bandit leader commanded her to stop, vowing to kill her. Another group of bandits, lurking behind trees, observed the chase but remained more interested in the ongoing battle. Qin Feng noted that the boss was nearly defeated. Despite being only level 5, the Golden Ghost ship proved challenging to solo. He acknowledged that his damage output was low, resulting in a prolonged battle that attracted many spectators. He observed groups on the cliff and beside the swamp, recognizing them as those who had previously died and others waiting to ambush him and seize his loot. After delivering a final poison dart, Qin Feng successfully eliminated the skeleton boss of the Golden Ship. The system promptly confirmed his achievement, indicating that the Golden Ghost Ship, Gold Grade, had been slain, awarding him 4,800 experience points, advancing him to level 8, granting 7 evolution points, and providing 216 tradable days of lifespan. Reflecting on the outcome, Qin Feng recognized that the adversary's strategies had failed. He then activated his Shadow Sneak ability as the boss gradually vanished, transforming into a lifespan orb. Subsequently, a worldwide notification announced that player Shadow, Shell Town, was the first on the server to defeat a gold-grade boss, earning 3 reputation points. In various towns and countries, players were confused, curious, and jealous of the mysterious player known as Shadow. Some in Han City wondered who this powerful person was, while others guessed where Shell Town might be. Many proudly claimed that the first person to kill a gold-grade boss had to be from their city. In Shell Town, Wang Meng recalled that Shadow had recently fought a bronze boss solo and marveled at the rapid progression to defeating a gold boss alone, highlighting the vast difference in their abilities. Qin Xiaoyu considered Shadow to be the strongest and hoped that by leveling up together, there would be an opportunity to reunite with brother Song Fei. In the depths of the swamp, the demise of the golden boss left behind numerous items and lifespan orbs, igniting the greed of a lurking group intent on seizing the loot. One member chuckled, noting the abundance of items dropped and speculating that the player known as Shadow had used invisibility to hide, likely wary of their presence. The group's leader commanded Guang to use his skill to locate Shadow and eliminate him to claim the golden boss's loot for themselves. Guang, an archer, acknowledged the order and released an arrow infused with magic, summoning the phantom horned eagle. The arrow transformed into a phantom eagle that hovered over the battlefield, searching for Shadow. As the eagle's feathers fell, they created a radar-like image, revealing their target standing right in the middle. Qin Feng observed the phantom horned eagle and realized that he hadn't expected this hunter to learn an anti-invisibility skill so quickly. He understood why they were confident in trying to kill him and snatch the loot. However, he noted that his assassin class came with a +1 invisibility level, and a level 1 anti-invisibility skill couldn't break his stealth. Guang reported to the leader that Shadow had vanished, suggesting that he must have fled upon seeing their numbers. The leader laughed, remarking that at least Shadow was smart, and instructed the group to secure the loot while remaining vigilant and prepared for battle, noting that the ownership rights for the boss loot would expire in 5 minutes, after which the loot would be theirs. As they approached the rewards, a shadow flickered, and numerous blue slashes reduced the players to fragments, resulting in the appearance of more lifespan orbs. Qin Feng remarked that it was much quieter now and wondered about the whereabouts of Little Black, deciding to search for her later. With sufficient evolution points to upgrade Greedy Hand, he chose to enhance the skill before collecting the loot. A notification announced the upgrade of Greedy Hand from Diamond to Epic. This assassin-type skill could now be used on monsters' corpses, offering a 220% to 300% chance to obtain an extra loot drop, with a 100% certainty that the extra loot would be 1 tier higher. Qin Feng was surprised by the 100% chance, noting that it was a direct change. He decided to gather all the lifespan orbs together and use the skill. Laughing, he urged the orbs to come to him, and activated the enhanced Greedy Hand skill. The system immediately responded, flooding him with notifications. Each use granted 7 evolution points and 216 tradable days of lifespan. Qin Feng was particularly pleased to obtain 2 Ghostfire Bells. The Ghostfire Bell was categorized as an item rather than equipment, meaning it did not occupy equipment slots. Furthermore, carrying 2 Ghostfire Bells only consumed 1 inventory slot, making them highly convenient. A special item, when equipped, prevented the loss of lifespan upon death, with a cooldown of 1,800 seconds. Its passive ability, Soul Absorb, increased lifespan drops from monsters by 20%, and possessing 2 Ghostfire Bells doubled this effect. The active ability, Soul Shock, immobilized all enemies within a 100-meter radius for 3 seconds, with a cooldown of 600 seconds. In a perilous encounter, Qin Feng hears Black Plum's desperate cries for help as she is cornered by a group of bandits. Despite his frantic search, he is unable to locate her in time. Somewhere far from him, Black Plum had been cornered. Surrounded by a group of bandits and backed up against a cliff, she had nowhere left to run. The bandit leader mocked her resistance, while another jeered, promising twisted pleasure if she surrendered. With her back to the edge and eyes full of defiance, Black Plum let out a sharp breath and chose to jump. Having experienced death multiple times, she had grown more accustomed to its sting. Rather than allow herself to fall into their hands, she preferred the certainty of death and revival in Shell Town. As she plummeted through the air, her staff grazed the cliffside. Then came the heavy impact as her body hit the ground below with a thud. The earth splattered beneath her as her form burst into golden light, fading into particles. The bandit leader stood frozen in disbelief, stunned by the act of resolve. He muttered to himself, acknowledging that she truly had jumped, clearly not the kind to surrender easily. Moments later, Black Plum sent a calm message through the party's friend channel. She informed Qin Feng that there was no need to come save her anymore. She had already died and returned to town. Although she complained about the pain, she also noted the relief that their party's tradable lifespans were all stored safely with Captain Wang Meng. Qin Feng acknowledged the message and promised to bring her the supplies once he arrived. She responded with appreciation, thanking him for his efforts and telling him he had worked hard. He took a deep breath, feeling a sense of accomplishment. The latest battle had proven to be a significant success, noting that his tradable lifespan has reached 3,115 days and he has accumulated 21 evolution points. He decides to evolve his skill, Greedy Hand, but is informed that further evolution requires 210 points due to its current epic level. Opting instead to enhance his attacking skills, he believes that increased damage will enable him to combat stronger bosses and obtain better loot. He proceeds to evolve Instant Shadow Slash from Platinum to Jade and then to Diamond, increasing its range, invisibility duration, number of slashes, and additional damage per slash. After using a total of 10 evolution points, he has 3 points remaining. He then enhances Backstab from normal to gold, increasing its damage incrementally. Qin Feng calculates that the evolved Instant Shadow Slash can now deal significant damage, especially when combined with Backstab, potentially reaching up to 10,000 total damage. He acknowledges that gold-tier bosses typically drop 2 to 4 silver equipment, with a small chance of gold equipment. However, due to the effects of Greedy Hand, he has received 11 gold equipment and skill books, 2 platinum equipment, and 1 platinum skill book. Among these, 3 items are suitable for assassin types. Qin Feng examines the Ghost Ship Dual Blades, a platinum assassin class weapon with high attack, agility, attack speed, and armor penetration. While he notes that the weapon's unique effect of dealing double damage on normal attacks isn't particularly useful for his skill-based combat style, he appreciates the significant boosts to his base attack and agility. He also considers the benefits of increased attack speed and armor-piercing properties. Next, he reviews the Ghostfire Leather Armor, a gold-tier equipment that offers substantial physical defense, fire elemental resistance, damage block, and a significant health boost. He realizes that wearing this armor will make him nearly impervious to most current players. To maintain a low profile, he decides to make his defensive equipment invisible, retaining the standard assassin appearance to prevent others from easily assessing his gear. He then discovers a gold-tier skill book, Ghost Shadow Blur, which grants a passive 15% dodge rate and immunity to all damage upon a successful dodge. Recalling that increasing dodge rate in the game is typically challenging and often results in lower other attributes, he decides to learn the skill, confident that his ability to infinitely evolve skills will allow him to enhance the dodge rate without sacrificing other attributes. Qin Feng prepares to return, planning to sell the remaining warrior, priest, and archer items to Wang Meng at a 10% discount, trusting in Wang Meng's reliability to purchase them on credit if necessary. He acknowledges that his recent significant upgrade is largely thanks to Black Plum's assistance in locating the level 5 golden ghost ship, expressing gratitude for her help. As Qin Feng walks without stealth, he crosses paths with the bandits, whose leader is still furious over Black Plum's escape. Noticing Qin Feng's cold, unmoved gaze, the bandits' anger turns to fear. Recognizing him as the shadow, they panic in attempt to flee. Qin Feng allows them a few steps before entering stealth mode. In their desperation, the leader uses a subordinate as bait, leaving the underling pleading for his life. Qin Feng swiftly eliminates all the bandits except the leader, who, witnessing the carnage, becomes utterly terrified. Tearfully, the leader begs for mercy, addressing Qin Feng with various honorifics and revealing that he has less than a year of lifespan left. Qin Feng coldly questions whether the leader considered his own fate when attacking others, then uses a poison dart to end the leader's life. A notification informs Qin Feng that due to his numerous player kills, he has received one layer of killer status, resulting in a 75% loss of current lifespan upon death. A killer icon appears above him, and a red aura envelopes his body. Unconcerned, Qin Feng recalls that he possesses the Ghostfire Bell, which will prevent any lifespan loss if he dies once. Qin Feng arrived at Shell Town, breaking stealth and revealing himself to the town. All the players' gazes quickly fixed on him, their mouths and eyes widening. One exclaimed that it was Shadow, noting his return after killing a gold boss. Another questioned why he wasn't wearing any equipment. A third speculated that Qin Feng must have exploited bugs to solo the boss, resulting in no drops. A familiar face emerged, holding out a book. It was Xian Xiao, the leader of the group that had previously tried to steal the boss's dropped loot from Qin Feng. Stepping forward, Xian Xiao admitted their earlier mistake and presented an assassin's skill book they had purchased using their lifespan, asking Qin Feng to accept it and consider it as if nothing had happened between them. Qin Feng inspected the item and received a notification indicating that he had acquired the Impale skill book, a common assassin class skill that, upon activation, increases attack power by 20 points and stuns the target for 2 seconds, with a cooldown period of 22 seconds. Briefly stunned, Qin Feng thought about the utility of a control skill. After a moment's consideration, he walked past them, uttering a single word, "Fine." As Qin Feng's figure faded into the distance, a subordinate couldn't hold in his emotions any longer. He questioned Xian Xiao, expressing frustration that they had been killed by Qin Feng and yet had to give him a skill book, labeling it as cowardly. Another subordinate agreed, questioning when they had ever been treated in such a manner. The first subordinate suggested that they each use their connections to gather people, implying that with everyone's contribution, even a single spit from each could drown Qin Feng, questioning why they should be afraid of him. Xian Xiao coldly silenced them, emphasizing that they didn't understand the situation. He pointed out that Shadow was growing rapidly, leveling up by himself, indicating he must have a significant secret. Xian Xiao proposed finding Qin Feng in real life to kidnap him, not only to uncover the secret but also to make him their slave to gather lifespan for them. The first subordinate acknowledged the plan, praising Xian Xiao's strategy. Xian Xiao elaborated that he would have the family send a woman over to try and extract information from Qin Feng. He noted that Shadow's voice sounded very foreign, suggesting he wasn't within their circle, which implied that Qin Feng was likely very poor. Xian Xiao expressed confidence that by employing a professional beauty, Qin Feng would fall into their trap. Qin Feng approached Black Plum, who was waiting nearby, and mentioned giving her some items. Black Plum, initially excited, clarified that her name was Big Plum, not Little Black. As she received the trade, her excitement grew even more. She exclaimed in awe, marveling at how the skill and the necklace had multiplied her damage several times and more than doubled her mana regeneration. Flames of passion surrounded her as she jumped up, filled with enthusiasm and gratitude toward the expert. Qin Feng acknowledged her thanks and stated that he was simply following their agreement before requesting the space ring. Black Plum, still overjoyed but regaining composure, handed over the ring and mentioned discovering an underground cave while escaping in the forest. She explained that the cave appeared to be the entrance to a ruin and inquired if there was any interest in investigating it. Hearing this, Qin Feng was momentarily stunned, realizing that first, it was the Golden Ghost ship, and now it was a ruin entrance. He thought about how beneficial it was to have befriended this girl. He understood that sincerity was mutual, and if not for giving her 2 pieces of gold equipment, she might not have shared this information. With the space ring now in possession, his inventory had expanded to 27 slots. His mind then shifted to Wang Meng, noting that once the items were sold, the plan was to investigate the ruins. Black Plum informed him that the captain and the others had gone to train the new priest and would not return anytime soon. She marked the location of the ruins on the map and described the entrance as being hidden beneath a stone slab behind the bushes. She explained that while hiding there, she had only taken a few steps inside when terrifying screams echoed from within, causing her to flee. Otherwise, she would not have been captured by the pursuing enemies. Qin Feng acknowledged the information and decided to head to the ruins immediately, planning to trade with Wang Meng once he returned. Before vanishing into stealth, he left Black Plum standing there, who reacted with surprise at his sudden disappearance. While speeding toward the ruins, Qin Feng's thoughts raced. He initially intended to find a place to grind until reaching level 10, but with the discovery of a ruin, there was no longer a need. He reflected on the 3 types of ruins commonly found in beginner towns: tombs, cursed ruins, and temples of faith. Regardless of the type, the small mobs were all bronze tier, with the possibility of encountering silver tier monsters. To him, these monsters represented a sea of lifespan and evolution points waiting to be harvested. Following the coordinates provided by Black Plum, Qin Feng swiftly arrived at the designated location. As he approached, he saw the stone slab, just as Black Plum had described, revealing a staircase descending into the depths below. Without hesitation, he descended the stairs, his thoughts analyzing the nature of the ruins he was about to explore. Qin Feng considered the 3 primary types of ruins commonly found in a beginner's town: tombs, cursed ruins, and temples of faith. Tombs were inhabited by hordes of monsters, making them notoriously difficult to clear, with a gold-tier boss almost always awaiting at the end. Cursed ruins housed creatures afflicted by the ancient gods and evil deities. Once human, some had gone insane while others had transformed into ghosts upon death. The temples, however, were filled with devoted followers of these ancient beings, and their labyrinthine layouts made navigation particularly challenging. Successfully conquering either cursed ruins or temples often granted special items or skill books. As Qin Feng stepped into the hall, his gaze fell upon the walls adorned with intricate murals. Recognition struck him instantly. The symbols and carvings were unmistakable. This was a temple of faith dedicated to the ancient god of judgment. The realization sent a surge of seriousness through him. Across the hall, another opening led to a passageway, hinting that the temple extended even deeper. The temple's origins aligned with the artifact known as the Eye of Judgment, the very artifact for which he had been betrayed and the catalyst that had propelled him back to the past. Low growling echoed from within the depths, growing louder with each step, a clear sign that something was lurking ahead. Meanwhile, deep within the dark forest, the sounds of battle echoed, a clash of steel, monstrous growls, and a poorly coordinated team struggling to fend off an adversary. A shield warrior, Wang Meng, knelt under the relentless assault of a towering, bloodthirsty runner. Though he had activated his holy shield barrier, the runner's might proved overwhelming. With a final devastating strike, the creature shattered the barrier, leaving Wang Meng with only his shield as his last line of defense. The next blow sent him flying backward, a burst of blood escaping his mouth before he hit the ground. He lay motionless on his back, battered and bleeding, yet his grip on the mace and shield never loosened, embodying the unyielding spirit of a true warrior. He landed in front of a healer with long black hair. She clutched her staff tightly, her body trembling with uncertainty. The archer, sensing the urgency, shouted for her to heal Wang Meng. Qin Xiaoyu stood frozen, her eyes welling with tears as she struggled to respond. Caught off guard, she hesitated before nervously stammering a reply. The archer, growing impatient, demanded to know why she was just standing there. Panic overtook her as she frantically tried to figure out how to use her healing skills. Before she could act, the runner seized the opportunity and lunged at the remaining members of the group. The dual swordsman cursed as the monster closed in, urging Qin Xiaoyu to act quickly. Overwhelmed by fear, she collapsed to her knees, shielding her face with both hands. A desperate scream escaped her lips as terror consumed her. The battle ended in disaster, the entire team wiped out. Resurrected back at the spawn point, Wang Meng, the archer, and the dual swordsman stood in grim silence, their expressions darkened by frustration and anger. Unaware of the fury brewing within them, Black Plum greeted them cheerfully, questioning their early return. She reminded them that without expert shadow, they would be unable to purchase the necessary equipment. The archer, unable to contain his rage, exploded in frustration, directing his fury toward Qin Xiaoyu. He berated her incompetence, pointing out her inability to dodge attacks or use her skills effectively. Embarrassed, Qin Xiaoyu's face flushed red as she endured the verbal assault. Black Plum, attempting to defuse the situation, defended Qin Xiaoyu, reminding the team that she was a beginner and that dying once was normal for new players. The archer's rage did not subside, fists clenched and veins bulging with anger. A demand was made for Black Plum to step aside, a threat to unleash every bit of frustration upon the one responsible for their repeated deaths. The dual swordsman added to the weight of the argument, pointing out that this was not a single mistake but a repeated pattern of failure. 3 deaths within an hour had tested the limits of patience. Black Plum hesitated as the realization set in, but with determination to change the course of events, she revealed a glowing gold tier necklace recently acquired from Expert Shadow. Confident in its power, she suggested joining the team for their next attempt, believing that her newfound strength would prevent further defeats. Wang Meng, seeing reason in the suggestion, decided that giving it another shot with Black Plum's assistance was worth considering. Perhaps, upon their return, they would even encounter Expert Shadow. Qin Xiaoyu, outwardly appearing remorseful, apologized and vowed to improve. However, internally, her thoughts burned with resentment. She seethed at the idea that those who had failed themselves dared to blame her. If not for their connection to Expert Shadow, she would not even have considered associating with them. Frustration boiled over within her as she silently cursed them, considering them nothing more than fools who had dragged her down. Qin Feng moved deeper through the ancient ruins, passing through a doorway framed by a crumbling, poorly structured wall. The remains of bones crunched underfoot as he advanced cautiously. Suddenly, a noise caught his attention, prompting him to turn and inspect its source. Before him, 2 bald humanoid creatures with gray skin, dressed in matching robes, were kneeling with their foreheads and elbows pressed against the ground in his direction. A notification appeared, identifying them as devout followers of the ancient god, the judged, formidable silver-tier creatures at level 10. With a cold snort, Qin Feng vanished into stealth and swiftly unleashed instant shadow slash. Blades of light tore through the kneeling figures, startling them into movement. As they sat up, their glowing purple eyes became visible, their skeletal features bearing the signs of starvation. Qin Feng's gaze flickered to their health bars, which showed only slight damage. A realization struck him: despite the element of surprise and a direct backstab, the attack had only inflicted minimal harm. This was the expected resilience of a level 10 silver-tier boss. The combined health of these 2 creatures already exceeded that of the gold-tier golden ghost ship. His surprise deepened when the creatures, instead of retaliating, resumed their kneeling posture. It was as though they remained utterly unfazed by the attack. Qin Feng's mind raced. They were kneeling again, facing directly in his direction, even though he remained cloaked in stealth. A possibility emerged: perhaps they had sensed the eye of judgment upon him. If so, this was why they had refrained from attacking. Testing his theory, Qin Feng spoke. He demanded to know if they understood the way and commanded them to guide him. The devout followers stirred, raising their heads toward him before emitting an eerie, unintelligible wail. Observing them closely, Qin Feng noted the signs of corruption. Their bodies had long since decomposed, their minds reduced to nothing but madness. These creatures had become little more than savage beasts, driven by an insatiable urge to steal the lifespans of humans. Without warning, their expressions twisted into something more feral. Teeth clenched, low growls filled the air. In an instant, green flames erupted from their bare hands, illuminating the darkness as they turned away from Qin Feng and rushed back toward the entrance from which he had arrived. At that moment, a group of players, unaware of the lurking danger, stood just beyond the doorway, about to step inside. Panic spread among them as they realized what was approaching. Cries of warning erupted, monsters were coming. Their shouts turned frantic upon recognizing the enemies. Qin Feng stood by as they screamed. 2 silver-tier bosses at once. One alone would be a deadly challenge, with 2, survival seemed impossible. Fear surged through the group, urging them to flee, but it was already too late. Green flames surged forward, engulfing the ground in an instant. Among them, a familiar female mage was caught in the inferno, her form consumed by unholy fire. In mere moments, she dissolved into golden light, the remnants of her existence condensing into a shimmering lifespan orb. With a calculating gaze, Qin Feng observed the scene. The fallen players belonged to Grey Rose, the same group that had previously purchased Ice Spike. Their presence in these ruins was unexpected, but their lack of preparation was clear. No one was truly equipped to handle the depths of this dungeon. A smirk formed on his lips. Over 100 days' worth of tradable lifespan had just dropped, a considerable fortune. The devout followers, rather than consuming the essence before them, continued their eerie kneeling before Qin Feng. Taking advantage of the situation, he absorbed the lifespan without hesitation, finding unexpected riches in the process. With a cursory glance around the chamber, Qin Feng considered his next move. No traps, no hidden treasures, only 2 silver-tier mini-bosses had occupied this space. Clicking his tongue in mild frustration, he decided there was nothing left of value. Qin Feng dismissed the thought of searching further and swiftly summoned poison darts, launching them with precision at the devout followers' foreheads. The creatures collapsed instantly, and a series of notifications confirmed their demise. The system acknowledged the defeat of the devout followers of the ancient god, the judged, awarding 4,000 experience points and confirming an advancement to level 9. Additionally, 4 evolution points had been obtained, along with 188 days of tradable lifespan. Wasting no time, Qin Feng summoned Greedy Hand, extracting the lingering life essence from the fallen creatures. The rewards were staggering: 32 evolution points, 1,504 days of tradable lifespan, 4 gold-tier items, and 10 silver-tier items. Among the loot was even gold-tier equipment designed specifically for assassins. His gaze landed on a particular piece of equipment, the Pendant of the Faithful, a gold-tier accessory meant for assassins. The item granted plus 15 agility and a 20% cooldown reduction. Its unique effect allowed the wearer to summon a silver-tier devout follower as an ally in battle, though the ability required a cooldown of 600 seconds. Examining the pendant's stats, Qin Feng was satisfied with its capabilities. The 20% cooldown reduction greatly enhanced skill efficiency, lowering the cooldown for stealth from 22.65 to 19.25 seconds, poison darts from 4.35 to 3.75 seconds, and instant shadow slash from 10.45 to 8.85 seconds. This improvement meant that grinding and combat efficiency would see a significant boost. Since all other newly acquired equipment required level 8+ to equip, it was clear that no one else could make use of them yet. With that in mind, Qin Feng decided to keep non-assassin items for now, with the possibility of selling them later. Before any further thoughts could take shape, a deep, grinding noise echoed through the ruins. The floor behind him shifted as a circular section of stone began to move. Turning to face the disturbance, Qin Feng watched as a stone pillar emerged from the ground. As expected, clearing all the monsters in the area had triggered the hidden mechanism. With that, this chapter comes to an end. For those eager to see what happens next, stay tuned. Like and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next one.